capable of another half of football like that.
Tim Brown, the rookie who leads the league in kickoff returns, fields at the 1. And Brown, who comes in averaging 29.7 yards a return, brings it back out to the 26-yard line. They'll spot it at the 25, make it a 24-yard run back. And Steve Beuerlein, drafted last year out of Notre Dame. He spent the entire season stashed on injured reserve. And then they let Mark Wilson go, and they let Rusty Hilger go, and Plunkett retired. And he's there with Allen and Jackson, Brown and Lofton, the wideouts, Parker, the tight end. And up front, only Bruce Wilkerson has started every game this season, the right guard, number 68. Bo Jackson gets the call and gets nothing. Darren Como, he's number 57, and the man replacing, or 53 rather, the man replacing Brian Bosworth in on the stop, along with Tony Woods, number 57. Green, Nash, Bryant up front. It's been porous against the run, this defense. Bosworth gone. There's Como. Dave Wyman out of Stanford. Woods from Pittsburgh. And the secondary with Taylor, Jenkins, Moyer having a fine year, and Eugene Robinson. On 2nd and 8, inside handoff, and they run Tim Brown. They like to do that because he can line up as a wing back or a slot back, and they get him the ball not only through the air, but on the ground as well. That is his 12th carry of the year, and he is stopped by Joe Nash. 3rd and 5.
I think we can look for the Seahawks to try to confuse young Steve Beuerlein. Looking at the video from last week, he was thoroughly confused by Atlanta that jumped around, and I'm quite sure that Chuck Knox certainly picked that up, and they're going to be moving around trying to confuse Beuerlein. And down and injured apparently is Gasek, the starting left guard for the Raiders, and this is really a makeshift offensive line that they put together. I think this is the 10th different unit that has started for the Raiders this year, and in this and their quarterback lies their real problems.
And I think that's one of the reasons, Frank, why they're only rushing the ball for 115 yards a game so far this season by Raiders standards. That is negligible. I don't know that a Raider team in recent history has been so poor at rushing the football. And when there's no continuity on the offensive line, that's the single biggest reason. And losing Giesecke, if he's not able to play tonight, what a blow to the Raiders.
We just kind of breezed by the fact that they are running the ball so poorly with Bo Jackson, Marcus Allen, 2 Heisman Award winners. We just saw another one running from the outside, Tim Brown. I don't think there's ever been quite a collection of technical skill stars ever on one team.
Chris Ream will replace Giesecke, and we mentioned that the only starter in that offensive line who has played in every game is Bruce Wilkerson, who has played both guard and tackle, so they have moved people around. Don Mosbar, who's a tackle now, has been a center and a guard throughout his career. So here we go again. The Raiders have to plug it up front, plug the gap with Ream replacing Mosbar. 3rd and 5 from the 30, from the shotgun.
And here's where the crowd noise is a problem for Beuerlein.
And a flag goes down, and it may have been before the snap. Jeff Bryant had his arms around Beuerlein. Jerry Markwright is the referee, and the play had been whistled dead.
Yeah, that'll be a false start. The whole Raider offensive line moved before the snap.
False start, number 72, offense, touchdown.
Don Mosbar.
Mosbar and everybody else. And that might have been a problem with Bill Lewis, the center, because watch how many of the Raider offensive line moves, with the exception of the football. There goes the left side. The right side's moving. Even Beuerlein is starting to move back with no ball. I'd say credit that one to Bill Lewis, the center, holding on to it.
And it looked a lot like the offense we watched against Atlanta last week.
3rd and 10, and it's knocked down and nearly picked off. Jeff Bryant knocked it down, and it winds up in the arms of Jacob Green, who gets into a little scuffle. So the Seahawks come out and hold the Raiders on their first offensive possession. And the Raiders to kick, and that's Jeff Gossett. Done a good job this season. For so many years, it was Ray Guy, and then he retired, and Stan Pally did most of the punting last year. He's gone. Bobby Joe Edmonds back to receive the punt at the 32. Edmonds at the 28. Brings it back out to the 36-yard line. And the tackle is made by Ron Brown. Dave Krieg now leads the Seattle offensive unit in their first possession of the night. Krieg separated his shoulder early in the season, missed 7 games. They went basically with Kelly Stopper. Then Krieg came back 3 weeks ago. Last week, 20 of 30. Warner and John L. Williams. Williams, the fullback, is their leading receiver. Brian Blades, the good-looking rookie, the Hall of Fame inductee soon. Steve Largent on the other side. Tice the tight end, and there's the offensive line. At the 37-yard line, first down for Seattle. Williams following Warner. Good move. Out past the 45 to the 46 and close to a first down. McElroy, the safety, comes up and makes the tackle along with Lyndon King after a gain of 9.
Williams, a first-round draft pick out of 1986, has improved with each and every year. Good cutback here. You wouldn't have seen that as a rookie now. He'll plant that outside foot, drive it upfield, and watch him just spin away from a tackle. Out to the outside, forces the miss, gets the extra yardage up close to a first down. Not only a good receiver, but he's a dynamite runner.
2nd and 1 from the 46-yard line. This is Warner, and a first down. He takes it to the 50. So Seattle is at midfield.
Interesting, Warner's averaging under 4 yards a carry, while Williams on the year, not only the leading receiver, as we talked about a moment ago, is averaging 4.6.
Raiders defensively, a basic 3-4. Though off times tonight, you'll see them go to 4 down linemen. Townsend having a good year. Howie Long is still gone with a calf injury. King, Millen, Robinson, and Martin, all long-time veterans. Fellows and Haynes. Haynes has been reborn this year, and so has Russell Carter. McElroy is the other safety. First down from the 50-yard line. Krieg over the middle, and the pass is caught by Mike Tice, the tight end. That's his 26th catch this year, a career high. Rod Martin wraps him up after a gain of 4. It'll be 2nd and 6.
I think that's the kind of passing game we're going to see right off the bat by Seattle tonight. That's just working short and underneath. You see Tice come off the ball. Rod Martin really never loses him. That's really the kind of a reception a linebacker will give a tight end all day. He'll let him have that 4-yard reception. Just make sure he's not going to get behind him.
4 minutes into the game, no score. Seattle at the 45, 2nd and 5. March into motion. Warner, and he is a cutback runner, cutting back and picking up about 3. Mike Wise makes the stop. We talked about Howie Long. He's not on injured reserve. It's been a week-to-week thing, but they finally went in and in a surgical procedure went into his calf and cauterized a broken blood vessel last week, and he hopes to be back before the end of the regular season.
At least he's not on crutches. Last week on the sidelines out in the Coliseum, Howie was on crutches, not able to put any weight at all on that leg. So at least some progress for this many-time All-Pro, one of the most dynamic defensive linemen that's played in the last 10 years.
Interesting, the Raiders staying totally in a 3-4 defense. Last week they were almost always in the 4-3.
Shotgun, 3rd and a long 2. And the 3-man rush, and he dumps it off to the safety, Val Williams, for a first down.
Guys, I think that's the dimension that Dave Krieg brings to the Seahawks offense versus Kelly Stopper, the rookie who's been manning the fort while Dave Krieg was out. Stopper had a 3-3 record. This is not to slight what he did, but that's a veteran quarterback play. Looking downfield, moving from one receiver to the other. There's Kelly Stopper, number 11. And then finally coming off and throwing to the receiver who Dave Krieg knows can pick up the first down. Look at him survey the field, stay alive, and get it to John L.
38th catch of the season for Williams. From the 33, Williams to the outside behind Warner. And Williams picks up about 6.
No force on the part of the Raiders on the outside at all at that point. And Williams was able to turn it upfield, didn't have to bring it back inside, and it gets good yardage out of him.
Frank talked about John L. Williams coming alive. That graphic was a good illustration. Averaging almost 6 yards a carry over the last month of the season. And he has got some power in his legs. When you put 226 pounds on a 5'11 frame, a lot of that power is in your legs. And for a guy that big, I know we're all surprised at his qualities as a receiver out of the backfield.
2nd and 3 from the 26. Williams again for about 2. It'll be 3rd and 1. Flag is down. Bill Pickell is in on the tackle for Los Angeles.
Flag right where you usually get the holding call, and we're going to get it against the Seahawks.
Jerry Markwright is the referee.
Holding, number 71, offense. 2nd down.
Brian Millard.
I think Millard was going one-on-one with Matt Millen, the inside linebacker. I think he wrapped him up pretty good. Brian Millard is the right guard. Let's see if we can get a look at him. Here he is right here. Watch him come out and make the block on Matt Millen. Let's see if he locks him up. See the left arm? He's got it outside the body. Oh, and there's a good look at the hold as he grabs Millen's jersey and keeps him from moving back to the inside.
2nd and 13. Now the Raiders with their 4-man front. They bring in the rookie Scott Davis. And they rush for on 2nd and 13, and the pass is incomplete. Good tight coverage. Blades the intended receiver, and he was blanketed by Lionel Washington. Crowd wanted a flag. They don't get it.
They've been getting great play in the secondary. These Raiders have Lionel Washington with a good play. Got to the receiver just with the football. Another flag down.
Yeah, there's a flag down well away from the play.
Number 22, defense.
That's Mike Haynes, and he was not involved with Washington wrapping up the intended receiver. And away from the play, Mike Haynes in his 13th season. And we mentioned he's been reborn. He's reborn in the sense he's starting, which they didn't think he would do necessarily at the beginning of the year, and playing extremely well.
We talked about the play they're getting from, well, basically free agents. Ron Fellows, who was cut, they brought him back. Russell Carter, the former Jet, he's playing well. Lionel Washington, you saw a moment ago make a big play.
So a 1st down, their 3rd on this drive at the 30. No score. Williams cuts back inside and takes it to the 18 for a 1st down. Jerry Robinson makes the tackle. So Williams has been the big man on this impressive opening salvo from the Seahawks. Raiders have not allowed a touchdown on the last 38 opponents' drives begun in opponents' territory, meaning on the opposition side of the 50. And as Frank mentioned, they've allowed just 1 touchdown in the last 3.5 games. That was last week to Atlanta when the Falcons took over at the Raider 11 after a Beuerlein fumble. Warner. So they're really mixing it up with Williams and Warner and a couple of passes, and Matt Millen makes the stop, 2nd and 7.
And you see one of the adjustments the Raiders are going to make is that time they went to a 4-man defensive line. Scott Davis, Townsend, Malcolm Taylor, Pickell all in there, and that appears to be the way they're going to combat the Seahawk running game deep in their own territory.
Halfway through the 1st quarter, 7:25 to play in the period. No score. 2nd and 7, Seattle at the Raider 15. Williams in motion. And Krieg on a quarterback draw gets wrapped up at the line of scrimmage. Bill Pickell doing a nice job this year at nose tackle. Not necessarily getting a lot of sacks or a lot of tackles, but they talk about the fact that Pickell has really anchored the middle of their 3-man line.
And this is a good look, I think, at a defensive lineman honoring his lane, staying in the middle, staying home. Pickell's to the left of your screen. All the time he's combating his blocker. He's got one eye on the quarterback, and the minute Dave Krieg makes his move to the line of scrimmage, Pickell reacts and gets in on the play.
3rd and 7 with 4 receivers in for Seattle out of the shotgun. And Krieg throwing over the middle, touchdown! Largest first of the season. Larkin has now caught a pass in 165 consecutive games.
Good protection for Krieg. Lots of time. Lionel Washington, he just ran right by Washington, and Krieg laid it up. The timing was perfect.
Norm Johnson for the extra point, and Largent is the holder. Seahawks move down the field on their first possession and lead it 7-0.
Lionel Washington locked up one-on-one with Steve Largent, but really Eddie Anderson, the safety, he's supposed to be there to make that play, and as you can see, he's to the right and out of the play, and it results in a Seahawks touchdown.
What if it were possible to combine the room and comfort of a sedan with the performance of a sports car? Nissan engineers have been working on such a vehicle. Introducing the 160 horsepower Nissan Maxima, the four-door sports car.
If know we're gonna be there, don't think twice. Service is part of our name. We're a part of your country, a part of your town, and no one else does it the same. We deliver, we deliver. It's the reason you trust us. You know that we're gonna come through. We're your part of service. We deliver for you. Got it. We deliver for you.
The Black & Decker Workmate. About all it can't help you do is clean up. But at least it gets out of your way. The Black & Decker Workmate.
It was an awful sound.
The most awful sound.
It was a hissing. It was a buzz.
You cannot describe it with the human mouth.
Say no more.
If your long distance sounds bad, call and hear why 9 out of 10 business people prefer the sound of U.S. Sprint.
Here's Eddie Anderson, the safety. He's going to get hung up in no man's land. But watch right here, Lionel Washington doesn't get a bump on Steve Largent. And not getting a bump, allowing Largent to get that release off the line of scrimmage. And a perfect, and I mean perfect pass from Dave Krieg results in that Seattle touchdown. You could not have thrown that ball any better.
10 plays, 63 yards, 7-0 Seahawks. Johnson's kick, Brown has it at the 5. And the Heisman Trophy winner from Notre Dame, doing what he does so very well, brings it back to the 41, and Norm Johnson, the kicker, makes the tackle. 36-yard run back. 6:18 to go, first quarter, 7-0 Seahawks.
What dry was. What dry is. Introducing new Michelob Dry Beer. It's brewed longer to start bold, finish clean, and refresh completely. New Michelob Dry. One taste, and you'll drink it dry.
For those hardy souls who brave the elements in search of the perfect tree, McDonald's has a treat just for you. For a short time, we're serving holiday chicken McNuggets with a festive orange sauce. There are also thick, rich eggnog milkshakes and cool peppermint sundaes. They're just our way of wishing you a joyous season.
Your holiday place, McDonald's.
This is not the time to learn that all antifreezes aren't the same. What's in your radiator?
Come on, answer.
Presenting a turning point in the history of screwdriving. The Black & Decker cordless screwdriver. A screwdriver so powerful it can drive 100 screws on a single charge. Any less, and it wouldn't be the Black & Decker cordless screwdriver.
The first game in the history of the Seahawk franchise, September 12th, 1976, here at the Kingdome. Jim Zorn was the quarterback, and number 80, Steve Largent, was a rookie. The then St. Louis Cardinals beat Seattle 30-24.
was opening day of 1976, and we were a little stunned. We almost got beat by the Seahawks, and I remember all the way home, we wondered, where did they get that left-handed quarterback? We'd never heard of Jim Zorn before.
And that kid number 80. That kid number 80 just scoring the Seattle touchdown as Beuerlein hits Lofton just short of the 50-yard line. That's a pickup of about 8 and makes it 2nd down and 2 for the Raiders with 6 minutes to play.
You know, when you think it large and you realize that he was drafted actually by the Oilers as a 4th-round draft pick, was released, and they made a trade to the Seahawks. He came here for an 8th-round draft pick. All those records on the books already.
First quarter, 7-0 Seattle, 2nd and 2. And Bo Jackson picks up 1 hard yard. Paul Moyer playing extremely well this season and getting to start now because of the forced retirement of Kenny Easley due to a kidney condition. Easley had been traded to Phoenix, failed the physical, and of course was then told to retire from football because of the kidney ailment.
Moyer, a totally different style than Easley, who was a leader, a big hitter, a great all-pro, and Moyer kind of roams around back there, does his thing, and he also has 6 interceptions, doing a great job.
Which is kind of unusual for the strong safety. Normally you expect the free safety to be that guy.
Inside handoff on 3rd and 2. Out of the shotgun, they give it to Marcus Allen, and that's his first carry. And he gets to the 43-yard line. Marcus Allen, tough and durable. You see the cast on his left wrist. He broke that about a month ago. One of the problems, though, he has had is holding on to the ball. In each of the last 2 games, he has fumbled near the goal line.
And the problem is very simple. He's not able to transfer the ball from his right hand to his left hand when he's going to get tackled. And, Frank, you know, as a ball carrier, that's a tremendous handicap.
It's tough.
On 1st down, off the fake, Beuerlein throws and finds the open man at the 28. That's Tim Brown. Their leading receiver, that's his 33rd catch of the season.
Beuerlein came back like a pro. He got pro protection, and he drilled it into Tim Brown, who really is in a battle for Rookie of the Year honors. Good move. You drive, use your speed, work on Jenkins, make him think you're going deep, turn it inside. Plenty of yardage for the 1st down.
When you have the kind of speed that Tim Brown has, a simple hook pattern is a lethal weapon when the cornerback has to respect that tremendous straightaway speed.
Raiders at the Seattle 27-yard line. This is Jackson. And they've been able to bottle up Bo in the first quarter to this point. Stopped by Tony Woods at the 25-yard line. Funny thing about Jackson, last year, 221 yards in that memorable game. His only 100-yard game. Forget 200. And, you know, we walked out of here that night thinking, here's a guy who is establishing a new standard by which future running backs would be judged. Not yet.
He was a little strange that night. I've never seen anything quite like it. We just sit here in awe as we watched it. Of course, he's had a lot of nagging injuries. A couple of pulled muscles. They've held him back.
2nd and 7. Allen, flag down to the 21-yard line.
I tell you what that flag's going to be. Tim Brown was going towards the line of scrimmage at the snap of the football. He was coming in to make a block, and he starts moving towards the line at the snap.
They'll discuss the options. If Seattle wants to take the play, it'll be 3rd and about 4. Otherwise, it would be 2nd and about 12. And Chuck says, bring it back.
Foul. Number 81, offense, 2nd down.
Timmy Brown is coming in motion. Here he is right here. Watch him start up towards the line before the snap of the football. He's going to make a block on the outside linebacker. There's a good look at it. I mean, it's nice to be eager, but he's getting after Bruce Schultz before the snap of the football, and that drew an easy flag.
You can do that in the CFL, can't you?
Yeah.
Well, sail here.
You've got to be moving parallel or away from the line of scrimmage.
2nd and 12, and there are flags again as the Seahawks came busting through, and the ball is taken by Allen to the 27-yard line.
I think it's a situation where Bill Lewis, the center, snaps it early.
We have an illegal snap on number 51, offense, still 2nd down.
Looks like Dave Butch's helmet.
What is an illegal snap? Does he lift it up?
No, did you see his body move?
Yes.
Did you see him twitch? That is called an illegal snap. That was an intent to draw a defensive lineman offside. You can see where he got Jeff Bryant, number 77, to go ahead and move. The center's just like any other offensive lineman. He's got to keep his body still before the snap of the football. And old Bill there had a double clutch.
Not a bad idea if you can pull it off. Yeah. A lot of centers all the time.
A lot of centers. You're right. Get away with it.
2nd and 17 from the 34. Another flag as Beuerlein throws behind Willie Gall. And so 3 consecutive flags now. 3:03 to go in the first quarter.
Who knows what this could be.
Illegal motion foul, number 32 offense. Penalty declined. Third down.
Three straight penalties against the Raiders. This one on Marcus Allen.
Also some miscommunication downfield even without the penalty. Willie Gall was turning in and Beuerlein was expecting him to make a move towards the sideline. A poor series of downs here for the Raiders.
3rd and 17 out of the shotgun with 4 wide receivers, and that time Beuerlein started to move, and the Raiders are really self-destructing on this drive.
That'll be a false start against the quarterback.
It's 4 consecutive penalties against the Raiders.
And Beuerlein had these kind of problems last week, too.
False start, number 77, offense. Third down.
That's Ream on the left side who had replaced Giessing. But again, the Raiders are staggering around out there just like they did a week ago.
Did you see Beuerlein's he's expecting the ball. You could see his entire body flinch when he made the one hut, didn't get it from the center, and he drew off his own lineman. That's Beuerlein's fault. That's not Ream's. Another double clutch. He did it again. Come on.
It's a live play. No, it's not. No, it's not. Mark Wright whistles it dead.
I think there's contact had been made before the ball was snapped.
It's again. They're gonna flag Beuerlein because his arms flinched. He was calling for the ball. Plain. You can see this plain as day here.
False start on number 7, offense.
You know, we talked about this last night with Stranahan, the coach. We said, in this loud arena, have you changed the way you're going to snap the football? He said, yes, we've worked on that. And if this is it, then they should still be working on it.
Watch Beuerlein's arms. Watch his arms jerk when he's clearly calling for the ball. Right there. He's calling. He says, give it to me. Give it to me. That's false start all the way on the quarterback.
3rd down and 27 from the 44-yard line. Beuerlein has time, then throws incomplete at the 25, intended for Timmy Brown. He was coming back toward the ball, but covered by Dwayne Harper.
That could have got him back into field goal range. They were in field goal range at the 28-yard line, and with all the malfunctions of their offense, they are well out of it.
Second from the left is Al Davis, chewing on his nails here after that particular drive. And Gossett's second punt of the game bounces at the 10. The Raiders are there to cover it inside the 5 and pin Seattle at the 3. 2:46 to play. First quarter, Seattle has the ball and a 7-0 lead over the Raiders.
It takes time to get your gal to see the light. It takes time. It isn't always love inside. From the first little glance, till she's ready for romance. Remember, little man, it takes time. It takes time to make the coffee percolate. It takes time to get your gal to set the date. From the first moonlit walk till you get the baby talk.
The Elegance Collection from Citizen.
Yeah.
When it comes to doing business worldwide, you gotta think in global proportions. You gotta know how the world turns, because you want it to turn your way. You gotta speak the language. You gotta travel with the fast crowd. It's a big world out there.
You gotta do everything you can to make it smaller. This reminder from Federal Express that it's not just a package, it's your business.
Marquette County, Michigan. 1,800 square miles of woods and marshes, rivers, trails, and mud. In fact, off-roading doesn't get much better than this. So when you see people bouncing around out here in a Nissan hardbody 4x4, you gotta figure they're having a really great time. Not necessarily. The Nissan hardbody 4x4. Official truck of the Marquette Sheriff's Search and Rescue Team.
Tomorrow, astrology put to the test, part 2.
And Barbara Walters shares some special moments in her career.
And Priscilla Presley joins us on Good Morning America.
The Kingdome in Seattle. Seahawks and Raiders each with a mark of 6-6. And Denver on top at the moment in the AFC West with a mark of 7-6 following their win over the Rams yesterday. Chuck Knox's team on top 7-0. Seattle ball at its own 3-yard line, 1st and 10. John L. Williams reaches the 5 and then gets pushed back.
No question the Seahawks there were going to play a little power football. Steve Largent's over on the sidelines. They go to a 2 tight end offense. And Chuck Knox living up to his nickname of Ground Chuck. That's power football when you're backed up to your own goal line. He's going to try to crunch it out on the ground.
Never been known, Dan, and Al, you both well know, to go with that razzle-dazzle. It's been very effective. It's not too colorful, not too fancy, but like you said earlier, he's taken 3 different teams, franchises to the playoffs.
2nd and 8 from the 5. And Warner gets about 2. Funny, Seattle looking so good on its first drive, but it's interesting to note, here it is, the 13th week of the season. The Seahawks have not scored a touchdown on any drive begun at or inside its 20-yard line. And they are the only team in the league that has not.
Well, if Seattle runs the ball this time, at least it'll be out of a passing formation. They brought in Largent and their receiving corps, 4 wide receivers. You can see them spread the field. And Krieg will go to the shotgun.
On 3rd and 5.
Licking blitz. They're going to get out of it.
And he loses the ball. It's a live ball.
That's a
touchdown. Townsend had it. He had control of it before he left the end zone.
Defense continuing to play for the Raiders. They are the Raiders, and they have been for the past few weeks.
I think Bill Pickell is the guy that makes contact. He, on a line stunt, loops around from the outside. Here's Pickell, 71. Watch him loop around the back of Malcolm Taylor and come right up the middle and hits Dave Krieg, and away goes the football. And Greg Townsend gets control of it before he goes out the back.
Well, that happened so quick. Krieg, I know, was thinking about, I'll just get rid of it if I get any pressure. He didn't have a chance to.
And Mark Wright, the referee, right on top of the play. Barr kicks it through. And the Raiders tie it up with 1:15. Look at it from this angle.
Pickell will loop from the right. Look at him coming up the middle. John L. Williams tries to get over, but he's ineffective. He can't get in front of Pickell. And Seattle, that appeared to have things going their way, makes a major, major mistake.
IBM presents You Make the Call. Tommy Kramer of the Vikings passes to Anthony Carter, whose ankle is hooked by a Raider at the 8, causing Carter to touch his knee down at the 2 before breaking the plane of the goal line and losing the ball. Now you make the call. Is this a touchdown?
As a business grows, its needs grow.
A little chat?
Especially its need for computing. So IBM, the leader in business solutions, developed the Application System 400.
Have a powwow.
It gives you the solutions you need today, and it can grow with you like no other system can. You can upgrade it without having to replace it. Meeting. With the new IBM Application System 400, the money you spend on software, training, and equipment will keep working, no matter how big things get around your plant.
What call did you make? Since he was contacted by a defender, the ball is spotted at the location of the ball when Carter's knee touched the ground.
Jane said I used to be in great shape.
The DP ergometer treadmill. For home fitness. Electronic pulse programming. Smooth. Quiet. Adjustable. DP quality. Made in the USA. DP. Fit for life.
What do you mean, used to?
Next week, the Chicago Bears are on the prowl. They'll encounter the Los Angeles Rams on ABC's Monday Night Football. It's the only way to kick off your week.
Raiders and the Seahawks tie 7-7 as Chris Barr puts it in the air. 1:13 to go in the period. And the line drive fielded by David Hollis. And the defensive back brings it back out to the 29-yard line. And another look now at the touchdown.
Great end zone look. There is the switch. Piquel coming absolutely free. Williams not there for the pickup. The interesting thing, there was a question as we looked at it from a distance. Were both feet in bounds? They have to be, just like on a pass reception. But no question about it. Townsend was down with both feet.
Let's give the official credit. Look at Jerry Markwright right here. Watch him circle around and get back to the back line, because two things have to be ascertained after the ball's free. Who's going to recover it? And when they do recover it, are they in bounds? Look at Markwright move into position to make a call. He's right there to see that Townsend has both feet in. Good work by a referee.
First down at the 29-yard line as Kurt Warner takes it to the 33 for a pickup of 4. That's Russell Carter coming up to make the tackle.
You know, we get after those officials all the time when they make a call. It's nice to see a guy, which they do 99% of the time, do things properly. And that's exactly what Jerry Markwright did. Not only looking to see who was going to recover the ball, but moving to the back. Here's another look at it from the reverse angle. Piquel with the hit.
They're right so many more times than they are wrong. And here, Markwright knew exactly where he had to position himself so he could be sure and get the right read. Who recovered, and did both feet come down in bounds. Good work.
2nd and 6. Too high for Wargent. 3rd down and 6.
Argent, of course, the Travelers' Man of the Year for the Seattle Seahawks, as he should be annually. Remarkably young man, setting all those records. Kept his feet on the ground all the way. He and his wife, Terry, with the 3 sons and the little daughter, they're very active here in the community. And, of course, the Travelers' Man of the Year for the NFL will be announced at the Super Bowl. And we'll find representatives tonight. Marcus Allen over in the Raiders side.
That consecutive reception streak started over 11 years ago. 11 years.
Up to 165.
November 20th, 1977. On 3rd and 6, that's Largent, who drops the ball. And the Raiders, have they recovered? Waiting for the signal. The Raiders all signaling that they have it. But did they get possession before it goes out of bounds is the question.
I haven't seen an official indicate anything yet.
Neither have I. They have recovered.
There was a Raider that dived for the football and knocked it back inbounds, and that saved it for the Raiders.
Doug Toole, the back judge.
This almost looked like trying to down a punt at the 1-yard line as the Raiders fight to keep the ball from going out of bounds. And an awesome play. Let's see who it is that comes in. That's Lionel Washington, who's going to make the hit on Largent. He knocks the ball up. But watch from the right of your screen. Watch a Raider come along and swat the ball back onto the field.
Ooh, that ball is dangerously close to touching the sideline. I think they're going to look at that.
That's Van McElroy, number 26. McElroy came flying in there, and you can hear the crowd. They just saw it on the screen here in the Kingdome.
The reverse angle, I think, shows rather positively that that ball touched the out-of-bounds marker.
If McElroy touches the football and the out-of-bounds at the same time, Seattle's going to retain possession of that football because the ball will in essence have been ruled to be out of bounds. And the last person that had possession was Largent, a Seahawk.
There it is again, another good look. The ball there, up in the air. Here comes and McElroy to knock it back in bounds. Crowd is watching it on the Diamond Vision here.
They are not supposed to replay controversial plays, and they have replayed this one twice, and that creates the crowd response. Does it touch the line?
That did not look like it was out of bounds.
Remember, it has to be conclusive to overturn a call on the field. I haven't seen anything yet that would conclusively say that he was out of bounds.
George Slatke is the replay official.
Don't look just at the ball. Look at Van McElroy as well, because if either one of them is out of bounds when contact is made, that's as good as both being out. The ball looks inbounds there to me. The question is whether McElroy is touching the ground when he swats the ball.
It's like that Neil Anderson touchdown yesterday for the Chicago Bears. They finally gave it to him. It took 4 minutes to figure that one out.
I don't know. Guys, what do you think? I don't know if they've seen enough to overturn the official's call.
This is where it looks as though it did catch the out of bounds.
All right, let's see McElroy's body. Let's look at his body and see if it touches out of bounds. All right, the ball's going to bounce. I think that's a heck of a play by Van McElroy.
Yep, yeah.
I think the Raiders keep that football.
Yep, I agree. There's not enough there to turn it around.
No, if I'm the replay official, I say Raider football. What a play by Van McElroy.
Great play.
Extraordinary play.
Line of scrimmage will be the Seattle 49. Question is, whose ball? And the replay official, they're looking at two things here, as we have been. Now here's Mark Bright.
I think that's the only call they could make. Seattle lost the football, and what a Major League primetime play by Van McElroy. You ought to be happy, buddy. Big time.
First down, Raiders at the 49 of Seattle. Crowd in an uproar, and Beuerlein going for it all. He's got Brown open, and touchdown Timmy Brown. He beats Melvin Jenkins.
Good call. You come back with the team kind of upset over the loss of the football. You let them stand around while you look at the replay. You take Brown, put him on a fly pattern, hanging up, and let him run under it.
Frank, I couldn't agree with you more. Give Mike Shanahan the credit. That's a superb call in this situation. And look at Jenkins' bite on that stutter step by Timmy Brown.
And he does not get the help that I think he anticipated from the inside, Eugene Robinson, but it was a great move on Jenkins that froze him for that fraction of a second, and we already know the speed that this young man has.
So the Raiders, who were trailing 7-0, get a touchdown from the defense, a tremendous play from McElroy, and a bomb from Beuerlein to Brown, and take the lead 14-7.
And I'll tell you what that can do for the confidence of a young quarterback, Steve Beuerlein, who was maligned, and rightfully so, after last week's play against Atlanta. He is looked very professional. Brown looking it all the way into his arms. Could have been distracted by Robinson. He wasn't in the slightest.
This is some game when a team just a few minutes ago that couldn't even run a play. What they have, like 5 consecutive penalties. They couldn't even snap the football without making some sort of a major mistake. Now has a touchdown lead.
And when you have all of these stars, another, of course, 3 Heisman Award winners out there in the field at the same time. Beuerlein throwing it a little underneath, but right on the target. You know that something has to break sooner or later. There's Beuerlein. He's proud of that, happy with it. Again, could give him a lot of confidence.
Hey, that was a heck of a move by Tim Brown. That stutter step to the inside. If Melvin Jenkins was a fish, he'd be mounted on Tim Brown's wall. Because, boy, he took that hook all the way down.
Jenkins was mounted on the wall last week in Kansas City as well.
Yeah, he's had a tough couple of weeks. A tough fight for this guy, though, for Rookie of the Year. I guess it's down to him and Keith Jackson. The Eagle tight end, the rookie from Oklahoma.
Final play of the first quarter. David Hollis, the reserve defensive back, brings it back to the 24, and the first period will end with a penalty. And the penalty is against Seattle, so they will start even deeper in their own territory when the second quarter gets underway. 2 turnovers And 2 Raider touchdowns off those turnovers. Get the call from Mark Bright.
Illegal block. Number 53 on the return. First down. Quarter.
All of those things. Another look at a great young talent. That was a little stutter step to the inside. It throws at Jenkins, and he was wide open. Beuerlein a little short, but he knew he had him wide open. Eugene Robinson trying to cover up for Jenkins. He couldn't get there. Touchdown Raiders. They're on a roll.
Back after this message and a word from your local station.
Nissan has developed a new high-performance sports car with a modified Z-Car engine, anti-sway bars front and rear, and anti-lock brakes. The cockpit was designed for one 6'2" driver and 4 6'2" passengers. Introducing the new Nissan Maxima, the 4-door sports car.
One taste will tell you why the night belongs to Michelob.
This is ABC.
Five years ago, Toshiba introduced the world's first flat square picture tube. Since then, one by one, nearly every TV manufacturer has abandoned their tubes or changed to the standards set by Toshiba. Which leaves you with a choice. Buy a standard TV set, or buy the TV that set the standard.
Skinheads, an investigative report, Tuesday at 6. ABC's Monday Night Football, brought to you by Nissan, makers of the new Maxima, the 4-door sports car.
Start the second quarter in Seattle. Al Michaels, Frank Gifford, and Dan Dierdorf. Raiders leading 14-7, first and 10. Seahawks from their own 14-yard line. Dave Krieg, the quarterback. John L. Williams comes to the outside and is tackled up at the 18-yard line after a pickup of about 4. We talked about Williams before. Good fullback, outstanding receiver this year. And as you can see there, 171 times he's handled the ball this year without a fumble. And in fact, in his career, he has fumbled only 3 times. And there it is. And you talk about a guy who is sure-handed. This season, Sammy Winder, Rathman have not fumbled, but neither has carried the ball with near the frequency of John L. Williams. Second and 6 from the 18-yard line. Warner to the 23-yard line, short of the first down by a yard or so. Russell Carter making the stop. Well, next week we'll be in Anaheim. A week from tonight, the Chicago Bears come in. Mike Tomczak shaken up yesterday, separated left shoulder. Jim Harbaugh will start against the Rams in desperate need of a win now. The Rams, until a month ago, looking so good, and now, having lost 4 in a row, fighting for a playoff spot. 13:58, that's Carter who is shaken up. Timeout on the field early in the second quarter. 14-7, Los Angeles.
My brother just did something very smart.
Very smart.
He got this amazing new picture-in-picture TV.
Yep, Magnavox did it again.
Now we could watch 2 shows at once, so we never fight over the TV anymore.
We hardly never, in fact, we never fight anymore.
We could watch one show and preview another.
We can even reverse the picture.
How smart of Tom to get a TV this smart.
How smart of him to say how smart I are.
How smart I are?
Him too.
Magnavox. Smart choice. Very smart.
Nissan builds cars for people who have a certain enthusiasm for the cars they drive. Some drivers are a little more enthusiastic than others. Nissan, built for the most demanding race of all, the human race.
Before you even touch this camera, you're going to want to own it. The incredible 35mm Infinity Super Zoom 300. New from Olympus.
People who count on my brakes are important to me. So the people who work on my brakes are important to me.
The people who work on your brakes at Midas are trained brake experts. Remember, nobody beats Midas. Nobody.
The Raiders and the Seahawks met in the Super Bowl against Washington. The Raiders won, and Allen was the MVP. Russell Carter shaken up, comes off for the moment on 3rd and 1. And Seattle has been unsuccessful in their last 3 such situations. At the 23-yard line, they give it to Warner, and this time he gets it as he takes it out to the 25-yard line. First down for the Seahawks.
Well, the Seahawks run the ball 3 consecutive times, and one thing to watch next time around, watch how close to the line of scrimmage the 2 inside linebackers for the Raiders are playing, Matt Millen and Jerry Robinson. These guys, I think, are really susceptible to any sort of a play-action pass across the middle. They are so overcommitting to the run by the Seahawks. Let's see if they continue to play real close to the line of scrimmage. Watch 55 and 57.
First and 10 from the 25-yard line. Krieg throwing the bomb for Blades. Too far. He was behind Ron Fellows. The rookie out of Miami having a good season. Talking about Tim Brown and Keith Jackson, 2 outstanding rookie receivers. Keith, of course, a tight end, but Blades on the outside doing a great job for Chuck Knox.
And Dan, you're right on top of that too, because they come right back with the play action, and they have been overrunning against the run as well. And Krieg pays the price for having to hold on to it.
Boy, did he get high load, and this is a score. If the ball is there, Blades is easily past Ron Fellows, and this is an easy touch. But watch him get the high-low. Mike Wise, number 90, is going to be coming from the right, and that's Lyndon King, 52, at the bottom, coming from the left, and that's a long night for a quarterback.
Second and 10. Williams off a draw. Cuts to the outside, a first down, and a lot more, and a run out of bounds at the 49-yard line by Eddie Anderson. A second and 10 draw. Kurt Warner threw a great block on Jerry Robinson to spring him. 24-yard gain.
Williams can run it inside. He can take it outside. Good move to the outside. Good block on Jerry Robinson, number 57. There it is. Simple handoff. Warner steps up, gets the block on Robinson. Just enough to tie him up. Williams turns the corner, turns on the speed, and for a big man, we talked about his size, nearly 230, sprints down the sidelines before Eddie Anderson takes him out of bounds.
First and 10, Seahawks at their own 48-yard line. Warner behind Williams this time. These two doing a great job blocking for each other. Jerry Robinson runs him out of bounds in Raider territory at the 47-yard line.
I like the way you characterize Chuck Knox, Dan. He's the kind of football coach who'd like to go out there and fight the other coach in the middle of the field for a game.
Without the huddle now, they go deep out of the shotgun, and a juggling drop by Ray Butler.
Oh, that's close to interference also. Mike Haynes was back against Ray Butler, and there was a no huddle play called. That, of course, trying to keep the Raiders from changing their personnel, and we're seeing more and more of that, but this again, close to interference. There's a veteran, Mike Haynes, number 22. Whipped completely. The ball underthrown by Krieg, who's not a good deep passer. Either great defensive play or very close to being interference.
Give Haynes credit. I think he gets there at the same time the football does. This is never going to draw a flag.
No.
That's never going to draw the flag, and that's called saving your skin, because Mike Haynes was whipped by a good 4 yards.
And that ball well underthrown also.
On 3rd and 6. Krieg the 40-yard line, a first down to Paul Scansey, a possession-type receiver out of the University of Washington, and that's 10 times on his 19 catches this season he has picked up a first down. They love to use him in similar situations.
Former Steeler they picked up as a free agent a few years ago, and what did Chuck Knox say about him? He'd catch a ball in a briar patch. Great hands, knew where he had to be for the first down, got the yardage just inside the 44. Seahawks first down.
I guess it's tough to earn a reputation as a team's possession receiver when there's another guy named Steve Largent on the same offensive team.
Largent hasn't done all that bad on third down.
That's what I mean. Tough to get a little notoriety for Paul Scansey.
Here's Warner breaking it to the outside and taken out of bounds by Eddie Anderson at the 33-yard line after a pickup of about 6.
Good discipline on the part of this Seattle Seahawks team after that bomb that Beuerlein went to Tim Brown on. Stunned the Seahawks for a moment. They took the lead. They have settled down. They went right back to their basic game plan, the way they started this game, and it's working for them.
Eddie Anderson, right up there on the face mask. Inadvertent, though it might have been, if the official was there, I'm sure he would have thrown the flag. Anderson clearly had the face mask of Kurt Warner.
2nd and 4. Van McElroy is on the sidelines now as well, so they're minus McElroy and Carter in the secondary, and a first down and a lot more for Warner to the 10-yard line. Eddie Anderson saves the touchdown.
They're straight ahead blocking, but Warner has that great acceleration. He pecks along the line of scrimmage, and when he makes a cut, nobody accelerates out of that cut like Warner. Just straight ahead blocking.
Straight ahead, no trapping. Watch Blair Bush, the center, as he puts Matt Millen about 4 or 5 yards off the football. Millen tries to react late, and Eddie Anderson, clearly the only guy that's going to keep Kurt Warner from scoring. I don't think Ron Fellows was going to get there. Again, just tremendous blocking up front. There's a look at that block on Millen. He can only get an ankle, and it's 23 yards for Kurt Warner. And Seattle making a recovery.
Here's Warner again on 1st and goal. Stopped by Bill Pickell. Russell Carter, head injury, and they expect him to return. And we'll check on Van McElroy, who is on the Raider bench at the moment.
Well, we could tell during the commercial break how bad a ding Russell Carter got, because they were giving him the how many fingers do I have up in the air test, and they were starting with one finger. And that's always a sure sign that a guy's got a major league shot to the head.
More than that, he was a little hesitant about it.
2nd and goal. Williams takes it to the 6, where it'll be 3rd down and goal. Lyndon King and Jerry Robinson converge on the tackle with 10 minutes to go in the half, and the Raiders on top 14-7.
We had a trainer that gave that test to Dobler one time. He didn't put up any fingers. He was afraid he would get them bitten off.
Michael Shanahan. He's never been on the field here, Dan. Of course, the offensive coordinator for years with the Denver Broncos. But he was always in the press box. He was a little in awe of having to go down on that field.
We mentioned before, Seattle without a drive of 80 or more yards. This one started at their own 14, 3rd down and goal. Scansey in motion. And a touchdown to Blade.
You got to play it tight when you're down there. Fellows let him get inside. And Krieg was right on target with it. Actually, it was Lionel Washington. Laid off a little bit. Blades took it back inside. And Krieg was right on the numbers with it.
Yeah, really, Lionel Washington beaten for the 2nd time tonight. Really gave the inside away to Brian Blades, and he was more than happy to take it. It really was Ron Fellows just trying to help out coming over.
Johnson with the extra point. Blades with his 6th touchdown reception of his rookie season. It comes with 9:19 to play in the first half, and the game tied at 14.
Did we really have a good game?
We at Nissan noticed that the cars offering the best performance also offer the fewest number of seats. This seems rather unfair. I mean, after all, if a car is exciting to drive, shouldn't a lot of people be able to enjoy it? Introducing the 160 horsepower Nissan Maxima. The four-door sports car.
Some people see shaving as something you do for 3 minutes a day. At Braun, we see it as something you do for a lifetime. And we think you should make the best of it. The Braun Shaver, with its 3 shaving positions. Designed for those who choose to make a virtue out of necessity. Braun, the world's #1 selling foil shaver.
As long as I've known Tom, I need help, he's there. Sure, I'm glad to see you. Stay with you? Figured you wouldn't mind.
And when the last stray's rounded up, you head for the mountains. Bush. And the beer that goes down smooth as a mountain stream.
Sure owe you one. How about this in here?
Head for the mountains of Bush beer.
2 players are better than 1. Join the fun when golf's finest women and men pros team up for the PGA Tour's J.C. Penney Classic, Sunday on ABC Sports.
Funny thing about the parity, especially in the AFC West, each of the 3 teams involved controls its own destiny is what it amounts to.
It's almost down to round robin. Denver goes in and they play the Raiders next week. And then Seattle has to go back and play the Raiders on the final Sunday of the season.
We'll detail it at halftime as Tim Brown downs the kickoff in the end zone, and the Raiders will begin this drive at the 20-yard line with 9 minutes and 11 seconds to play in the first half.
And, of course, in 2 weeks, Denver comes into the Kingdome to play the Seahawks. It really is the 3 weeks remaining really down to round robin.
Tim Brown had to down that one in the end zone, but there it is, combined yardage this season. Or not this season, tonight. 3 rushing, 64 receiving. The big touchdown pass and the kick return. We'll show you the season in a moment. At the 20-yard line, Bo Jackson picks up 4. Tony Woods makes the tackle. They are really getting their money's worth out of Tim Brown, the Heisman Trophy winner and the first-round draft choice. Their first pick of the 3 they had in the first round.
Glad he was in the Coliseum on Saturday.
Yeah, right.
We had our hands full.
Combined yardage, that's rushing and receiving and returns as well, and there he is leading the league right up to the minute over Roger Craig and Herschel Walker and Eric Dickerson and John Steadley. 2nd and 6. Allen, first down, and all the way out to the 37-yard line. Rory Graves with the block that paved the way for him.
Pretty cutback on the part of Marcus Allen, who again wearing that cast on the fractured left hand. He can't use that hand to carry the football, nor can he use it as a straight arm to defend himself. He never says a word about it, just quietly goes about his all-pro work. Remarkable athlete.
Another guy we got to credit on that last play was Bo Jackson. He made the lead block on Bruce Schultz, put him down, sprung out.
First down, 37. Here's Allen. Another big hole. Sidestep to the outside. And all the way to the Seattle 37-yard line as Eugene Robinson rides him out of bounds.
You really saw it there. Now, Allen would have switched that ball into the left hand had he been able to. He had to carry it on the inside where the ball can get hit and hit very easily by a tackler. Good move. Zipping to the outside. There's the block on Woods. Breaking now. Right here, he would shift that ball to the left hand if he could. Then he would have the straight arm or the right arm. As it is, he just turns it back in, gets the most out of it. That's a remarkable effort by Marcus Allen. You know that has to still hurt.
30-yard gain. First down. Raiders at the Seahawks 33. 7:45 to play in the half. Beuerlein deep for Fernandez. Juggled in the end zone and then intercepted. Terry Taylor.
Beuerlein had the right idea. He just threw the ball high.
And now the officials are conferring. Did he have possession?
Whatever they rule, that was a great play by Taylor.
They're going to rule incomplete and bring it back.
Watch how Mervin Fernandez here is going to have the inside angle on Terry Taylor. If this ball is down a little bit, it's a touchdown, but it's thrown high. Now there you can see, but there goes Taylor, and his back is away to us.
They're looking at it.
This might be the angle that'll show it, because Terry Taylor is going to reverse and come our way. No, he never has the football. That's not an interception. That's an incomplete pass all the way.
Never controlled it, but a good sprint by Taylor to stay right with Fernandez. And you're so right, had that ball been down just inches, it would have been a touchdown.
After further review, the play stands. Second down.
Ruled incomplete. Ball hitting the ground.
Our guys are calling him well tonight.
Yep. An interesting question, though. What happens if this is a game where there's no reverse angle camera on the far side of the field? Not so easy to see. Just food for thought, guys. I thought I'd know.
Second and 10 at the 33-yard line. Jackson has some room, but really can't exploit it. Takes it to the 29-yard line, doing a good job containing Jackson tonight. Joe Nash makes the stop.
I thought you were directing that to our accounting department.
No, I guess that means when neither one of you responds to something that I say, I guess that means you don't want to talk about it, in other words.
Did Dan say something?
Something about the reverse angle camera.
Yeah, I can deal with it. I can deal with it. Doesn't bother me at all. Goodbye.
Night, Dan. 3rd and 6 at the 29. Beuerlein now shotgun. Crowd. As Beuerlein throws incomplete, intended for Brown, and winds up on his back on a blitz from Dave Wyman.
Well, that's a question, I think, where Tim Brown didn't read the inside blitz. And by the time he makes his break, Beuerlein is forced to throw the ball. You see the blitz coming up the middle. This forced Steve Beuerlein to release it, and he's expecting his wide receiver to make a side adjustment. You see Tim Brown, number 81, there in the slot. He's working downfield. Beuerlein has no choice but to throw it, and Brown hasn't yet made his break.
46-yard field goal attempt coming up for Chris Barr. And Barr's kick is good. 46-yard field goal with 6:45 to play in the first half, and the Raiders back on top, 17-14.
There's a reason Buddy Castle's at the CST Gator Farm drives a Nissan hard-body pickup. It has a sturdy double-wall cargo box. The inner panel absorbs the shock of shifting loads, while the outside sheet metal stays nice and motionless. And that's important in a pickup, because you never know when you may have to help a neighbor move.
Catch the true colors of the season on Kodacolor Gold film.
It takes time to get your gal to see the light. It takes time. It isn't always love inside. From the first little glance, till she's ready for romance. Remember, little man, it takes time. It takes time to make the coffee percolate. It takes time to get your gal set the date. From the first moonlit walk till you get the baby talk.
The Elegance Collection from Citizen.
Yeah.
Get ready for the Big Four Classic. It'll be Louisville versus Indiana, Notre Dame versus Kentucky, coming up on an ABC college basketball doubleheader Saturday.
Kingdome in Seattle. The winner of this game will be tied for first place in the AFC.
You know, one of the meaningless reasons for this camera is such things as fumbles. That's really the main reason we have it.
Kickoff with Bobby Joe Edmonds bringing it back out to the 32-yard line. And Seattle begins its next drive from there. Well, as the football season winds down and college basketball gets underway, our first foray into college basketball for this season, the Big Four Classic, Louisville against Indiana, Notre Dame taking on Kentucky on ABC. Big doubleheader from the Hoosier Dome in Indianapolis, Saturday at 2 Eastern time. And speaking of college basketball, right here under this dome, will they play the Final Four next April. At the 32-yard line, Steve Largent in motion. Good protection for Krieg. And the catch is made by Ray Butler at the 50-yard line.
Dave Krieg is playing really, really well tonight. And keep in mind, this guy is only a couple weeks back from being out with a separated shoulder. He's throwing the ball well. He's being patient. He's selecting the right receiver, going to the open man. That time, Ray Butler easily in front of Ron Fellows. And just really, really good working of the field by Dave Krieg. Working this field from sideline to sideline.
Van McElroy back in for the Raiders, but Russell Carter is still on the bench. Warner, maybe a yard. Mike Wise, number 90, makes the tackle. Chuck Knox, like so many others, rumored to be going to Detroit. Asked him about it today. He said, no way. Which is what we'd expect him to say.
Yeah, but he was pretty emphatic about it. He said, I'm staying in Seattle.
Got him a new owner, and Ken Baring, who walks the sidelines. Very interested owner.
2nd and 9 from the 48-yard line. On a draw, Williams gets to the 43-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 4. That's McElroy and Turan converging on the stop.
Of course, Wayne Fonts in Detroit might say, I wasn't aware that there was a coaching vacancy up here in the Motor City.
I've said it's his job to keep. Russ Thomas interviewed on Thanksgiving Day.
You better hope that there's a real infusion of talent between now and the start of next season. That's a ball club that is a ways away from being a contender in this league. They're a couple good drafts away, I think.
As we all saw on Thanksgiving. 3rd down and 3 from the 43-yard line. Krieg out of the shotgun, looking for Butler. Off his fingertips. He's gotten position on Haynes and couldn't hang on. And the Seahawks have kick with 4:15 to play in the half.
But a good move on Haynes to the inside. He was there. That time Krieg just threw it off his fingertips.
Yeah, that was a pass that really would have been an excellent catch by Butler. It's a tad overthrown by Dave Krieg. You can see that Butler only gets a fingertip on it. That really, you can't credit that as a drop to Ray Butler. That's an overthrown ball by Dave Krieg, and he knows it.
He's only been back from an injury off IR for the past 2 weeks.
Ruben Rodriguez to punt, and Tim Brown back at his own 12-yard line. Brown calls for a fair catch and makes it at the 15. And the Raiders will begin from there with 4 minutes and 8 seconds to play in the first half. Raiders on top 17-14 after a 27-yard punt.
I guess it's kind of a shame that Notre Dame went downhill without Tim Brown. You can see that program is really reeling from the loss of the Heisman Trophy winner.
Well, we had him early.
Like when?
Well, a couple of those dudes didn't show up for dinner.
Right. At the 15-yard line, 1st and 10, Raiders. Bo Jackson still looking to break one, does here, and picks up a 1st down, and he runs into Terry Taylor, who pays the price. He is still bent over and down on the AstroTurf.
I think Terry Taylor takes a Bo Jackson knee right in the helmet. He was in a very vulnerable position. He really wasn't attempting to make the tackle on Bo Jackson. He was kind of like down on the ground fighting off a block. And he really, that's a situation where you see a guy get hurt a lot.
Jackson's legs were just pumping, and you'll see him pump right into Taylor's helmet.
I think Taylor's going to be fighting off a block by Mervyn Fernandez. Right there on the outside.
Caught it right on the right leg. That'll put the bells up there for you.
Yeah.
I think this entire crowd held their collective breath as Jackson almost turned that corner. Of course, they were here a year ago, and he put on an awesome display.
With the problems that Melvin Jenkins, the opposite corner, is having, and when you look at a receiving core of Tim Brown, Willie Gault, James Lofton, and Mervyn Fernandez, Chuck Knox and the Seahawks cannot afford to have Terry Taylor leave the lineup.
And also they're minus Patrick Hunter, who was involved in an auto accident, and he had been starting. He's on injured reserve.
A good point. And Taylor, their #1 draft choice of 5 years ago from Southern Illinois University, they just can't afford to lose this guy.
They've already brought Dwayne Harper, a rookie 11th round draft pick, into the lineup. And that will not go unnoticed by the Raider coaches up in the box. It'll be Dwayne Harper working out on the left side. And would not be a bit surprised if they don't get something quickly into the game to work against Dwayne Harper.
Weeks from tonight, Anaheim Stadium, the Bears 11-2, and the Rams all of a sudden fighting for their playoff lives. And we'll be talking with Mike Ditka live at halftime tonight. Get an update on not only Ditka's condition, but Mike Tomczak as well, and find out about Jim McMahon and his pending return.
And Richard Dent.
From the 25-yard line, Marcus Allen looking for a hole. Instead, he runs into number 53, Darren Como. Again, if you joined us late, Brian Bosworth inactive tonight because of the shoulder problem, and Como taking his spot.
Somewhere right now in this country, George Allen is saying, I can't believe they're not going right after this Dwayne Harper. Guy comes right off the bench. I mean, whatever happened to the killer instinct?
I think they ran a play to see where they were going to try and hide him. He's going out to the left side, and he's drawing a little bit of a crowd in a speed named Mervyn Fernandez out there,
who's averaging 26 yards a reception. But Beuerlein comes back the other way, too high, as Gault had broken off the route at the 48-yard line, and Beuerlein overshoots him. Jenkins covering on the play.
And I would say that Dwayne Harper was giving Fernandez on the other side about a 20-yard cushion. But Beuerlein, looking to his left all the way, decides to work the other side of the field in Melvin Jenkins and just has the ball float on it. Here's Fernandez and Dwayne Harper on the other side, and that's a major league cushion he's giving him. You can't quite tell it from that angle, but he never did catch up to Fernandez.
They'll find him.
3rd and 7, shotgun, 3 receivers to the right. Beuerlein stepping up and has it almost intercepted, and there's a flag down. He may have been past the line of scrimmage. Dave Wyman dropped it, and Beuerlein may have crossed the line of scrimmage. And if he did, it'll be 4th down.
I don't believe he did.
Well, let's see.
Yes, he did. He was clearly past it. I think he's going to be a yard or two past it. Well, no, no, he's not. He's not. This is
we
going
have 2 defensive fouls. Offside, number 79, penalty declined. Holding, number 24, defense, automatic 1st down.
Well, so much for our crystal ball. A dual foul this time against Seattle.
And a big dual foul because it results in a 1st down at the 33-yard line. 2:55 remaining in the half. Raiders have all of their timeouts remaining.
Terry Taylor, by the way, back in the ball game defensively for Seattle.
And Beuerlein going deep for Gault, who's gotten behind the defender and can't hang on, but a flag on Jenkins.
Jenkins, he's in the barrel tonight. They've been going at him all evening, and the flag flies, and they sure will get the pass interference call against Melvin Jenkins.
And again, it's an underthrown ball by Beuerlein. This was a case where Gault is past Jenkins, and it's the underthrown ball that really causes the contact.
And pass interference, number 24, defense,
You can't put both the hands up in the air and face guard the receiver. And Jenkins tries to do just that. He knows he's going to get beat here. Now watch, as Galt looks back, he'll turn around, look right at Galt, put both hands up in the air. And that you can't do. Here come the hands.
I think that's a horrible call. How can you call interference against Melvin Jenkins? They didn't call face guarding, Frank.
And that's a 54-yard penalty, the way it turns out, as Bo Jackson gets tripped up by Como and Moyer.
Can we look at that again, Kenny? Let's look at that now. Look at Jenkins. He had already looked back at the ball. Is there contact? Oh, I'm sorry. How can you call that interference?
Well, there is a misinterpretation. I'm official right on top of it. Now, again, Jenkins goes up with both hands, not playing the ball at all. Put both of those hands up there, you just can't do it.
Oh, I disagree, Frank. I think that's a tough call, boy. That's a tough call.
2nd and 10 from the 13. Beuerlein comes back the other way, intended for the tight end Andy Parker, a seldom used receiver, and with Todd Christensen unavailable on injured reserve, they rarely go to their tight ends. 2-minute warning. 17-14 Raiders, and they're driving.
For a half-century and more, business travelers have depended on United Airlines to get them to their most important meetings. United, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve. Come fly the friendly skies.
Winter's beautiful. She's just not real friendly sometimes. The days get shorter. The cold makes things kind of brittle. And the boys, well, they just get uglier. But come nightfall, when the fire gets hot, you still get thirsty. Bush. Winter's not so bad.
Head for the mountains of Bush beer.
The Chicago Bears are sitting on top of the NFC Central. They'll face the Los Angeles Rams, their conference rival, on ABC's Monday Night Football next week.
Two minutes to go in the first half at the Kingdome in Seattle. The Raiders on top 17-14, beneficiaries of a 54-yard pass interference call a moment ago, and now trying to capitalize. It's 3rd down and 10 at the 13 of Seattle.
They're not happy here, and I don't blame them.
Beuerlein sacked at the 28-yard line. Tony Woods comes crashing through.
The ball came loose, but the ruling is going to be that Beuerlein's down.
Woods, a first-round draft pick of a year ago, gets his 3rd sack of the season. And the Seahawks don't get a whole lot of those. They only had 19 coming in, and only 2 teams in the NFL had fewer.
And it turns a chip shot field goal into an interesting field goal attempt. And now the crowd is I can't believe they're showing all of the controversial plays. There's a rule in the league. The crowd loves it, of course, because they see all of the controversial plays up on the screen, and that's the reason for the response.
Well, they think it's a fumble. Let's see what they're booing about. Oh, that's a fumble all the way.
They're going to take a look at that upstairs, I believe.
Boy, we better not show them this angle, or they will go crazy. The dreaded reverse angle really showed it. That is a fumble.
You know, the Seahawks took a timeout Or did they? Hold on a second here.
This is Tony Woods coming from the left, and he just strips the ball. No way can you rule that he was in the grass.
They took a timeout, and I'm wondering if they didn't do it so they would give the officials upstairs more time to look at this play.
Boy, Jerry Markwright is finding himself and his crew in the middle of some real close ones. And boy, they just showed it again on the board here. That's a fumble all the way. Tony Woods strips the ball from Steve Beuerlein. There's a... You can't see it any better than this.
Reverse angle is working pretty well tonight, isn't it?
I mean, that's
not even close.
The ball's out. The ball's free. And that's Jacob Green who takes a stab at it. Jeff Bryant's working on it.
And if they get an overrule here, I think you can credit the timeout. Raiders were lined up, and of course, once you have the next play, you can't go back and review a play. And the Seahawks may have taken that timeout to give the guys upstairs the extra time to review it.
They have their own cameras here that feed the Diamond Vision. That, of course, would not be linked up.
But I tell you what we're back to, guys. I tell you what we're back to. We're back to that whistle blowing. And if they say that the whistle blew, if the official on the field blew the whistle, that ended the play. And regardless of what happened after that, it's a moot point.
They're obviously checking it out.
Crowd is chanting Seahawks ball.
And they could overrun Jerry Markwright's position.
Now Markwright's going to get on I think a phone line here upstairs.
They're having problems with their communication.
There's a guy dialing. Did you see the guy's dialing the number?
Hey, folks, let's look and see if we can see an official blowing his whistle.
How can you see an official blowing
Well,
his
because
whistle?
he'd be waving his hands. You know the way they wave their hands to stop a clock.
What a scramble. Going to ultimately be
Can't see it
57
there.
Tony Woods, who comes up with the football.
Yeah, you know what I mean, Frank. I mean, you can see official waving his hands. The same, it's a simultaneous motion as he's blowing on the whistle. He's signaling the timekeeper that he's blowing the whistle.
Markwright got room service on the first dial.
Meanwhile, Seattle, they had tried to call a timeout. Markwright then told Knox, we understand, he didn't need one. They were going to review it anyway. So Seattle has not been charged.
Fellas, here's the problem. Watch the right side of your screen. All right, the ball's out. Jerry Markwright right there is stopping play.
But it was after the ball was loose.
I know, but if he's blowing the whistle,
they're going to reverse it.
Well, the crowd thinks they are because the Seahawk offense is coming out, but Markwright's still on the phone.
Well, I was always led to believe that when the whistle blows, it doesn't matter what happened afterwards. That's sure the way that rule was explained to all of us.
That could be the date that's going on right now.
Yeah, you talk about a catch-22.
Yeah.
Obviously, it was a fumble, and obviously the referee blew the whistle.
Well,
who are they going to believe here?
For whatever reason, the Seahawk offense and the Raider defense is out on the field.
That's right.
Well, that doesn't mean very much. Oh, we can hear Markwright talk. Listen.
Where was the ball when I blew the whistle?
I don't think he knows his switch is open.
They may be checking where the ball is now. If indeed it's going to be Seattle ball, he could be checking the spot.
Of course, they're looking on the replay to see where the fumble recovery was made. They'll tell Markwright, he'll go out and mark it.
Well, we could hear Jerry Markwright say, where was the ball when I blew the whistle? It was explained to us last year that when that inadvertent whistle blows, it really negates everything that happens after that.
Let's go defense!
No, now they're changing again. The defense is coming out.
The whistle wins.
Whistle always wins. You're right.
And they have charged Seattle with a timeout.
After further review, the play stands. Fourth down.
Folks, I know it's a rule that doesn't make any sense. But when the referee is blowing his whistle, you have to understand that some players hear that whistle and don't continue to chase that loose ball. And if they are going to rule that he's in the grass, That's a bogus rule.
And that's what they have ruled, grasp and control.
It's a good way to get out of it.
Yeah. So now we've got a 46-yard field goal attempt after the sack. Barr made a 46-yarder earlier. And this one is just good. Just inside the upright. And so the Raiders getting a lot of breaks and capitalizing on them in the first half. 2 46-yarders by Barr. And the Raiders lead 20-14.
All of that, keep in mind, following a 54-yard penalty pass interference. They have ruled that Beuerlein was in the grasp.
And that's the reason why Jerry Markwright would blow the whistle.
Let's
but
look again.
It's not a good call.
And Beuerlein being flushed out of the pocket. And you see the referee the right side.
Right there, Jerry Markwright. Yep, he's blowing the whistle as he's waving his hand.
And probably even blew the whistle in advance of that. He knows what he called. If he ruled in the grasp, then that's what it was right at that point. But why all the bother with the review?
Yeah, right. I mean, there's no question that the replay guys did the correct thing. The ruling is in place that when that whistle blows, whether it was a good whistle or a bad whistle, it has to stand. It has to end the play. I disagree with Markwright blowing the whistle to begin with. It was a fumble, not a sack.
He was behind him. Bobby Joe Edmonds to the 23-yard line. And the explanation from the replay booth is that when Markwright says it's in the grasp, that precludes any reversal from upstairs. There are some things, it's funny, people think every play can be reviewed. That's not the case. This is where the official's initial ruling supersedes any further or subsequent decision from above.
Obviously, there was a problem with Markwright reaching the replay booth to explain what he had called. He had to go over to the sidelines and use the phone. That well explains a lot of the delay.
1st and 10, Seattle from the 23-yard line. 1:44 to play in the first half. Krieg running for a first down, taking it to the 36-yard line.
They're going to go without a huddle also. This, I think, more to keep the Raiders from changing their defense than the concern for time.
On first down, Krieg to Williams, and he runs out of bounds. That stops the clock with 1:20 in Seattle with 3 timeouts remaining.
Remember at the very beginning of the ballgame when I talked about Seattle and a game within a game, 15 consecutive times when they've trailed at halftime, they've ended up losing the game. The second longest streak in the league, and here the Seahawks are now down 20-14.
How many times they trailed Kansas City at halftime in Kansas City?
Every time they've been there, I think.
7 times in a row they've lost down there.
By the way, we said Seattle was second with 15 consecutive losses. The New York Jets lead the league by 1. They've got 16 consecutive games where they've lost trailing at halftime.
On 2nd and 1. Lost it for Williams. He falls down, but not because of contact, despite the crowd protesting. Lyndon King was there covering on the play. 3rd down and 1. At the 45-yard line. This is an important play, and they need the first down here on a 3rd and 1 at their own 45.
Absolutely. They could not go on a 4th, most certainly.
Well, with 3 timeouts left, they can certainly afford to get into a run formation, which is exactly what they're doing, and hammer out the first down.
And they try to hammer it out with Warner diving over the pile, and he has the first down. Takes it to the 47-yard line, and Seattle takes its first timeout, coming with 1:10 to play in the first half. Raiders on top 20-14, coming up at halftime. As we mentioned before, live interview with Mike Ditka. Mike Adamle is in Chicago. We'll find out about the Bears coach, how he is, how Tom Zach is, how Jim McMahon is, and the state of the Bears, and also a look at the NFL playoff picture.
Yeah, I want to see us try to explain that. We need somebody like Professor Irwin Corey or somebody to explain that.
Every year about this time, that is about as complex as it can get. And maybe more so even this year.
I don't know whether we need Irwin Corey or Werner von Braun.
We've got some color codes for you.
One thing we know for sure, right now more are in than are out.
It's amazing. You can't believe it when we'll show you at halftime, but teams like Miami and Atlanta are still mathematically alive in the playoff hunt.
Hey, Atlanta's one of the hottest teams in the league.
At the 47-yard line, first down, Seattle from the shotgun. Largent to the 31-yard line. And who else but Largent can get that open over the middle? We've seen him do it time and time and time again.
Craig trying to get everything pulled together, making sure Largent is all right. Craig did not want to take a timeout. He had to do it, but Largent appeared shaken up.
Just one-on-one with Ron Fellows. And Frank, how subtle was that move to the outside? Did you see? He just froze Fellows. Oh, just a brilliant move by Steve Largent. Shuttering his shoulders, making it look like he's going to break to the sideline, when in reality, he breaks back to the middle of the field, just freezes 21 Ron Fellows long enough, and watch this for heads-up play. Down and timeout.
And he was hurting when he did that.
There's a guy that's into the ball game, no matter where he is or how many people are on top of him.
All-time leader in receptions and receiving yards. And, of course, with a touchdown tonight, as we illustrated earlier, 3 shy of Don Hutson's touchdown reception record.
You know, the amazing thing about him, here he is in his 13th year, and nobody works as hard as Steve Largent. He is a great example for, well, the rookie Brian Blaze up from the University of Miami. He comes out and he will run a pass pattern over and over and over and over. He's probably run this thousands of times, but he'll do it. And nobody runs more precise routes. And it's a great inspiration to a youngster coming up. And it has been to the rookie on this Seahawks team, Brian Blades.
First and 10, Seattle at the 30. 1:01 to go in the half. Raiders lead by 6. Craig, who else? Largent. How in the world does he get open? Anderson makes the tackle.
I'll tell you how he gets open. He gets open because Dave Craig probably took 7 seconds to throw the football.
Yeah, but he knows, too, when Craig gets in trouble, he's going to give Craig a good angle to hit him with.
Back wide. Craig throwing to the end zone. Touchdown.
What a great drive. What a great drive. Then you come to the clutch man with the glue on the fingers. Knowing you're going to get doubled up on Largent, you come back across the field to Scansey, who has already beaten the defender on that side once already this evening. What a football game.
I think it's Ron Fellows again. There's Scansey, just one-on-one with Fellows, and Fellows just gives away the inside. I don't know if he was expecting help or just played it a little loose, but Seattle had the right route called in that defense. Fellows gives away the inside. Scansey takes it. And it's tied right now going into halftime.
Largent holding. Norm Johnson for the kick. Seattle has the lead.
Now they're leading.
Scansey, we talked about his third down capability. He's had that over the years. And this is his third touchdown reception for the Seahawks in his 5 years here. And again, you're so right. Fellows giving him the inside. He took it. Meanwhile, the double coverage over on the other side. And again, Craig with a brilliantly put together drive. He looked for Scansey all the way. He knew he would be doubled up over on the other side. Knew he would get single coverage. And he comes back and drills it in.
I'd give the Seahawk offensive line some real credit on that drive. Mattis, Bailey, Bush, Millard, and Wilson. These guys just didn't allow the Raiders anywhere near Dave Craig, and especially on that one across the middle to Largent. He just had all the time in the world floated out of the pocket. And right now, the strategy, if you're Seattle, you do not kick that football anywhere near Timmy Brown. You don't let Tim Brown handle the football here. I don't know what you do with it, but you don't get it to him.
Brown's averaging 29.7 yards a return. Best in the league.
He won't see this one. No, if Norm Johnson here arches a nice high kick to Tim Brown, Chuck Knox may meet him at the 40-yard line with a forearm shiver.
Beuerlein is bridge work. Well, so much for that theory.
Brown's going to get it on a hop at the 2. That's the reason. The 25.
That's the reason.
Only Jenkins can stop him.
You better leave town, Norm.
Would we lie to you?
Norm, baby, you better leave.
I'm sure he got permission to kick away.
I don't think he intended that. He wanted to power kick that football, and it took a bad bounce and bounced right to Tim Brown. And Norm Johnson right now is looking for a trapdoor. He's looking for some place to go hide, and what a play by Tim Brown.
You talk about Mr. Clutch, and he runs it. The only way you can be a top kickoff return man is full-blown. When you see a gap, you kick it into the best gear you got. And Tim Brown puts on the speed. Jenkins is in pursuit. He finally catches up with him, but not until they get inside the 5-yard line.
Bo Jackson looking for the end zone. Flags all over the place. Nine seconds showing on the clock.
I think we might get holding against the Raiders.
That's the call.
It might be Andy Parker, the tight end, too.
It must have been obvious. Flags were all over the field.
And you saw Mark right point right at him.
Number 87, offense. First down.
The other tight end,
Trey Junkin. Now the Raiders have a very interesting choice. 9 seconds. First and goal at the 13-yard line.
Well, Trey Junkin was the motion man. Andy Parker was the tight end at the point of attack. The flag could have gone to either one of them. It doesn't make much difference. It negates a touchdown.
They're opting for a field goal attempt. They still have 9 seconds, and they have timeouts left.
You know, I think it's probably Steve Beuerlein who has had the jitters over the past few weeks.
Now they're going to. Now Beuerlein starts to come onto the field. They take a timeout to decide what they want to do. They do have time to run a play here.
Well, they clearly have time to throw a pass into the end zone.
And they have all 3 timeouts, so they can use one here. And they still have 2 remaining. Not that they need it, but at least they have the 1 if they somehow run a play and don't get into the end zone and don't get out of bounds.
If you really believed in your quarterback, you could let him go for that. And the worst possible scenario would be if you flushed him out of the pocket, you ran him around, and you ran off the 9 seconds.
Meanwhile, now, after the timeout, they decide they are still going to go for the field goal. So they sent the field goal unit in, and Beuerlein was running back onto the field, and they took a timeout, and now they decide to go for the 3.
Do you think this is a situation that if they have a more mature veteran quarterback that they run one play here?
I think that's exactly it.
Yeah, in 9 seconds. But with a youngster like Beuerlein, they're going to go ahead and kick it.
31-yard field goal attempt. Johnson holds. Barr's kick is no good.
Tim Brown ought to meet Barr. So Brown's kickoff return means zilch.
Just cosmetic.
Norm Johnson could kiss Barr.
And Norm Johnson, you're off the hook.
Tim Brown obviously disappointed. Great effort. NFL's leader in kickoff returns, and more than that, he can do anything you ask him to do on a football field. Didn't mean a whole lot, but it's worth looking at again.
Here comes Timmy Brown, and again, this is instinct. This is nothing but instinct. Steve Smith with a block that sprung him, and you know what? Who really gets some credit here? How about number 29, the guy coming in, Dwayne Harper, who ends up saving a touchdown. And the Raiders don't get any points out of it. Give Dwayne Harper a great deal of credit. His hustle kept the Raiders off the scoreboard.
Jenkins slowed him just enough, and Harper cut him down on the angle. And Barr misses the field goal attempt. A wild first half. 21-20 Seattle. Back after this message from the NFL, a word about an upcoming show on ABC, and a word from your local station. Coming up, Mike Ditka and a look at the playoff picture.
ABC's Monday Night Football, brought to you by Apple Computer, giving you the power to be your best in home, school, and business.
Back at the Kingdom in Seattle, with Seattle leading the Raiders in a critical game for both 21-20. Good football game. We are glad you're with us. In a few moments, we're going to be taking a look at the playoff positions as they are related to the final 3 weeks of the season. But first of all, there's an interesting battle going on in the Central Division, the NFC. The Chicago Bears tied with Buffalo for the best record in the NFL at 11-2. Played yesterday the Green Bay Packers. They shut them out 16-0. They clinched their 5th consecutive playoff spot, but it was a costly game for the Chicago Bears. Let's pick up the action. First, in the first half is Tomczak back. Mike Tomczak, who's filling in for an injured Jim McMahon. And this is Tim Harris, who goes down on Tomczak, separated left shoulder, and his condition is labeled as a week to week, whether we'll see him again. Now, bottom of your screen, number 95 is Richard Dent, leading the Bears in sacks. Richard Dent goes down, broken bone in the right leg, so the Chicago Bears in a lot of trouble. Nevertheless, they have that 11-2 record. We'll see them next Monday night against the Los Angeles Rams. And right now, Mike Adamle is with Mike Ditka at the Bears training camp in Lake Forest, Illinois. Take it away, Mike.
Okay, Frank, Coach Ditka burning a little late-night oil here at Hallis Hall, the Bears suburban headquarters in Lake Forest. Coach, another mountain of adversity to climb. Now Richard Dent's gone, it looks like, for the season. Mike Tomczak probably 3 weeks, maybe more. How does this team bounce back yet again?
Well, I think they'll keep trying. I think Jim Harbaugh will do a good job, and hopefully we can get Jim McMahon out in an emergency backup role for next week. It's going to be awfully hard to replace Richard Dent. Richard's been such a great player for us, and that'll be a big loss because he's really is our premier pass rusher from outside, and he puts pressure on people. But Sean Smith is a young man who's got to come in, and he's got to mature in a hurry, that's all.
You've been down this quarterback road before, but and obviously having Jim McMahon as a backup, not 100%, the knee still not 100% sound, is not an ideal situation.
No, it's not. We may look around, and we are looking around right now. We'll decide if we're going to do something in the quarterback area, Mike. But, you know, it's been tough. But, I mean, it's foolish to sit back and feel sorry for yourself. We look at other teams around the league who have had adversity and had quarterback problems and injuries in other areas, and we're just one of those teams. It just happens to be a part of football. You don't like it. You don't like to see quarterbacks get hurt like they have this year, but it happens, and when it happens, you have to deal with it, and hopefully we've made some right decisions by drafting and by the personnel we've kept that they can come out and do the job.
Has this been a special season for you in terms of the type of people that have been filling the bill for people like Otis William and William Perry?
Well, it really has. We have great people. You know, Jim Morrissey's come out, and we know we have players that are limited, and we're not as good physically as a lot of teams. But the kids play hard, and it's rewarding because they want to be coached, they want to learn, they want to be, they want to win, they want to play for the Bears. To me, that's what's important. I'm tired of people saying that, well, if they don't do this for me, I'll go somewhere else. Fine, go. You know, I want the guys that want to play for this team because, to me, this team's important. You know, I can't worry about the other teams. I don't control those. But this team, we control this, and we like this team. And the guys that want to give for us, then we want to give something in return to them.
Coach, I know this is old news, your comeback rehabilitation from the mild heart attack you suffered a month ago, rather. But there are a lot of Mike Ditka fans in America who want to know how you're doing and how you're adapting to your new, less stressful style of life.
Well, I'm doing fine until my doctor sees me doing this tonight because he said I'm not supposed to do this. No, I'm doing fine. Everything's great, and I really appreciate the, you know, I appreciate the people who care around the country, and even those who aren't Mike Ditka fans or Bear fans. Thank you for your nice comments, and it's very much appreciated, believe me.
Well, Mike, thank you for joining us tonight, and best of luck next Monday night against the Rams in Anaheim.
Thank you, Mike.
Frank, back to you in Seattle.
Okay, Mike Adamle, we thank you, and we thank you, Mike Ditka. It is great, and we are delighted that Mike Ditka is coming along so well. We'll see him next Monday night against the Rams. We'll also see him in the final game of the season against Minnesota. Coming up, a look at the playoff picture. Stay with us.
For all you know, your family may have a Galileo, a Beethoven, a Columbus, even a Michelangelo. Which is why Apple created the 2GS to run all kinds of programs for all kinds of people. Programs to stimulate and educate, theorize and visualize. The Apple 2GS. Because you never know when genius may strike.
It's that time of year. If we can't confuse you, no one can. The playoff picture is a wild one once again in the NFL, and why don't we get it underway? Let's take a look first at the National Football Conference and the contenders and what might happen, what could happen, and that's, we are color coding this for you. The teams that you see in red: Philadelphia, Chicago, New Orleans, and San Francisco. They are in charge of their own destiny. We've already pointed out that Chicago has clinched at least a wild card for their playoff spot.
Well, Frank, the reason Philadelphia controls its destiny is they've already played the Giants twice, beaten them twice. So if each wins the remainder of its games, Philadelphia wins that tiebreaker. If Minnesota goes into that Chicago game only one game back and beat Chicago in that Monday night game that ends the season, they would win the division. Meanwhile, San Francisco controls its destiny because if they keep winning and eventually beat New Orleans at the end of the season, they would be tied with New Orleans record-wise, but would have beaten them twice. They would win. Those are the teams in red, and Dan, you take blue.
Yeah, well, if you look at the teams in blue, clearly they're the teams that have it to lose. If they win the rest of their games, they're in. And I guess really a surprise is the Giants with that 8-5 record when you consider the softness of their schedule. They finished last year in the Eastern Division. They had a much easier schedule than, say, the Redskins, who are there at 6-7 and yet have only parlayed it into an 8-5 record.
No one asked, but the Giants finish with Phoenix. They have Kansas City, and they have the Jets, and they will play all of those games at home. How about over to the AFC? And again, we are color-coded for your benefit. Buffalo, of course, has already taken the Eastern Division of the AFC. They have a little star there. Cincinnati and Houston. Denver, L.A., and Seattle, of course, a lot will be determined by the outcome of tonight's game.
I think the key here, Frank, is that a wild card doesn't figure to come out of the West. One of those teams will go in. Houston appears to be pretty close to a lock right now. Cleveland still battling at the season ended today. Cleveland would be involved as the wild card, and there they are, the only team in blue, Dan.
And I think you have to look at Miami and the Jets and teams like that and say it's really a miracle for somebody like that to get into the playoffs. But clearly, where we are at this stage of the season, I guess parity is an in word. And clearly, when you look at the playoff picture, I'd have to say it's working, if that's what you're looking for, because almost everybody's still in it.
Good games coming up. We talked about coming up next Monday night, the Chicago Bears against the L.A. Rams. Critical game, of course, for the Rams. The Bears would really love to win this for obvious reasons.
Well, the Bears, of course, don't want to go into that last game at Minnesota only leading by 1. And a big game coming up for Cleveland as well. Cleveland plays Dallas this week, and then they go to Miami on December 12th. And then, of course, the coup de grace to end the year.
And keep in mind here that Minnesota's already beaten the Bears once. So if they go into that game only one game behind, a win by the Vikings makes them the division champions in the Central.
I don't know about you guys, but I hope it means something when we travel up to Minnesota for that finale.
And if anybody understands what we just said, you're a genius.
Send us a Masters.
We'll be back in a moment. Stay with us.
Remember how determined your parents were to give you the gift of knowledge, no matter how many gifts it took? Today, you have a big advantage with the Apple II GS. Apple II computers are found in more schools than any other computer. Your parents gave you the world. You can give your kids the universe.
Halftime is winding down, and we'll return for the second half after this message about an upcoming show on ABC and the news from your local station.
ABC's Monday Night Football, brought to you by Apple Computers, giving you the power to be your best in home, school, and business. Wednesday.
Isn't going out with this girl, Winnie Cooper. We broke up.
Whoa, Winnie, she's pretty cute. A little flat, but cute.
Kevin likes him flat.
The Emmy-winning Wonder Years is back. And TV Guide called it a delight. It won the Emmy Award for Best Direction. John Ritter brings Hooverman back. Then, People magazine called China Beach inventive, inspired, and brave.
Love, sex, what's it all about?
3 season premieres Wednesday. This is a Channel 7 Eyewitness News Brief.
Good evening. I'm Connie Tong. Here's what's happening. More shocking testimony at the Joel Steinberg murder trial. On the stand, a former client of the disbarred Steinberg. He testified he saw Steinberg, quote, smash Lisa in the face. Steinberg is accused of beating his illegally adopted daughter Lisa to death. Steinberg's former live-in lover, Hedda Nussbaum, is also expected to testify this week. Tonight, the New York City School Board scandal is widening. There are charges that Bronx District 12 board members demanded sex for jobs and promotions. Bronx DA Paul Gentile will investigate those charges and others, including drug use by school board members. And tonight on Eyewitness News, we'll talk with a woman who says she was sexually harassed. A Brooklyn man who rescued a woman from two muggers was sentenced to prison today. Clovis Fearon killed one of the woman's attackers and wounded another with an unregistered gun. A record check revealed Fearon was a fugitive from an earlier drug conviction. The judge reduced the mandatory 2 to 6 year sentence to a maximum 4.5 years, taking into account Fearon's heroism during the mugging. Now, Corey McFerrin has a quick look at sports. Corey.
Big day locally in football yesterday, Kylie. Giants and Jets both scored dramatic victories. One's all defense, the other all offense. Giants beat the Saints 13-12, the real key, pressuring quarterback Bobby Hebert. 5 sacks, 3 of them from Lawrence Taylor, and I talked to him afterwards.
You know, if we had let up, the game would have been blowout. But I'm so proud of these guys. I don't know what to say, man. It's tremendous.
Pat Ryan and Kenny O'Brien tremendous too, and the Jets win over Miami, totaling 426 yards in the air. Here it's Ryan to Wesley Walker.
You know, Al and Wesley were getting open, and the guys were giving me time to throw. And when they get open and you get time, you know, you ought to complete passes. If you don't, you ought to find another job.
Not sure it's quite that easy. Much more coming up, Cuddy.
Thank you, Corey. We'll have a complete report coming up on Eyewitness News right after the game. I'm Cuddy Tong. We'll see you then.
So, 2 years in New York, and he thinks he can tell us how to run things.
It's all right. I fix things. He's traveling overnight on the red-eye.
Not first class.
Business class, of course. Company policy.
He'll be hungry and tired.
Club, British Airways' new business class delivers you ready for business.
Pleasant trip.
Yes, thank you.
New club class for the businessman, only from the world's favorite airline.
The Acura Legend sedan offers such amenities as leather-trimmed interior, sophisticated stereo system, and ergonomically designed controls. Is it any wonder people enjoy sitting in it? And with its 24-valve 2.7-liter V6, is it any wonder they enjoy standing on it?
Take advantage of the great leasing and purchase deals at your Tri-State Acura dealer now.
Skinheads, an investigative report, Tuesday at 6.
Hi, I'm Dick Vitale, and it's Hoop Hysteria time. It all starts with ABC College Basketball's Big Four Classic. It features Louisville with the great Purvis Ellison and the sophomore sensation LaBradford Smith going against the General Robert Montgomery Knight and the Fighting Indiana Hoosiers. And then it's the battle between the two outstanding coaches, the sartorial splendid Digger Phelps of Notre Dame against Eddie Sutton of Kentucky. It all tips off Saturday on ABC Sports.
There's Big Art Shell, the offensive line coach of the Raiders, and a guy, if I'm right and I think I'm right, is going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Used to work up there with Gene Upshaw.
Well, he's due. I think he'll be in Canton this summer.
Second half begins. Kick fielded by David Hollis. And Seattle will begin the second half at the 25, but maybe not because there's a marker down. Meanwhile, Jay Schrader is loosening up behind the Raider bench. So there's no indication they're going to make a move here. Penalty will be assessed against the Seahawks on a run back. Jerry Markbright.
Holding number 52 on the run back. First down.
M.L. Johnson. And here are the halftime statistics. Both Seattle turnovers led to Raider touchdowns.
Yeah, and that's the big number, even though Seattle with a real lopsided advantage in total yardage. You know, and I was wondering, how would you like to have been a fly on the wall in the officials' dressing room at halftime? Boy, they have a few things to talk about.
You can imagine the greeting they got. We were in commercial when the officials came back on the field. First and 10 at the 15-yard line. Warner takes it to the 20. Eddie Anderson comes up to make the stop. And we can tell you this ABC Sports exclusive is being brought to you by Budweiser. Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. By Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? And by Citizen. No other watch expresses time as beautifully. Kingdom, Seattle, Denver on top in the AFC West, 7-6. The winner of this game joins them. 2nd and 4 from the 21-yard line. Toss to Kurt Warner. Trying to get the first down, but he's short by a yard or less. 3rd down and 1 coming up now from the 24-yard line.
I guess this first half that the Raiders defense has played, they've allowed a couple months worth of touchdowns. The way they've been stingy and not letting anybody cross their goal line. Some burst by the Seattle Seahawks in this first half that we kind of suspected coming in it was going to be pretty wide open, but I don't think any of us imagined this.
Raiders again coming in had allowed just 1 touchdown in 3.5 games, that on an 11-yard drive. 3rd and 1. Williams gets a nice block from Warner and takes it to the 26-yard line for a first down. Boy, they really complement each other beautifully out of that backfield, Williams and Warner.
It's a pleasure to watch. At that time, Warner stepping up and taking Robinson out of the play. And when you get Williams turning it upfield with 226 pounds, he can be a tremendous force. Now, watch 28. There's the block actually against Fellows. Robinson late getting back into the play. He was also nipped there. Perfect 3rd and short yardage play.
At the 26-yard line. Krieg going to the air. Lofting it deep. And incomplete, intended for Blades. He was covered by Fellows. And the Raiders with a makeshift secondary here. Stacy Turan on a safety blitz that time. But McElroy and Carter were both shaken up in the first half. Neither is out there right now. Instead, they go with Eddie Anderson and Stacy Turan, who had been a starter but had lost his starting job when he was injured. And the word on McElroy and Carter both out for the game. 2 starters.
Turan, of course, has been a long-time starter. He injured his ankle a few weeks ago. Russell Carter got in there and has played so well, they were afraid to take him out of the lineup. And now it's Turan. They don't lose a whole lot with Turan in there, I can assure you that.
2nd and 10 from the 26-yard line. Warner to the 29-yard line. Lyndon King makes the stop. Another fellow they're missing, Terry McDaniel, one of their #1 draft choices, who had won a starting job as a rookie, broke his leg early in the season, but he's about a week or 2 from coming back from injured reserve.
I can't hear Van McElroy's name, though, without thinking back to the play he made in the first half, keeping the ball alive on the sidelines, knocking it back in bounds. That's truly one of the best plays I've seen this year.
And leading to a Raider touchdown. From the 30. Krieg from the gun on 3rd and 7. Protected well. And it is in and out of Largent's hands. Incomplete.
Take a picture of that.
Yeah, you don't see that very often.
Also, the way they ran that pattern, even though he didn't catch it, Krieg released that ball before Largent made the break. Largent against Haynes, drives him upfield. That ball is in the air right there. And I can tell you they practiced this hundreds and hundreds of times over the course of a season. And you will not see that very often.
Tim Brown. Getting ready again at the 30-yard line.
Sounded like you cued him.
Yeah. Ruben Rodriguez.
And he doesn't do this poorly either.
Good snap. Kick fielded at the 29-yard line. And this time Brown gets wrapped up at the 32. Darren Miller down there, and also Fiesel, who was the snapper on that punt. 11:34 to go, 3rd quarter.
A performance you won't forget. Ford Probe GT.
Have you driven a Ford lately?
We have the means to unite the country, the world, in seconds.
It's perfect.
Imagine putting that power in everyone's hands.
Japan, Zurich, LA on board?
The network. Everything's in place.
Network secure.
Banks should be this secure.
Activate the network.
Introducing MCI Fax, the world's dedicated fax network. Now send documents with the speed, the quality, the power only a dedicated network can provide.
What a beautiful day for a revolution.
With MCI Fax, it's there already.
Comprehensive health services and protection at an affordable cost. That's what one of America's strongest insurance, financial, and health service experts offers you. All backed by 52 years of health service expertise that covers over 8 million Americans. It's one of the most dramatic developments in healthcare today. From the travelers, you're better off under the umbrella.
Tim Brown tonight, 227 combined yards, and we'll put that in perspective for you in a moment in terms of the all-time record. 156 on kick returns, 64 receiving, including a touchdown pass. And there it is, Billy Cannon playing with Houston in the AFL in 61 at 373, Lionel James a couple of years back. And the other Timmy Brown, remember there was a Timmy Brown who played with Philadelphia in the 60s?
At a Ball State.
Isn't that odd?
He just wasn't another Timmy Brown.
Oh, he was a great player.
Oh, he sure was.
2 kickoff returns in one game against Dallas. I watched that one time.
First down, LA from the 33-yard line. Marcus Allen to the 38-yard line. Darren Como in on the tackle. Seattle leading 21-20, 11.5 minutes to play, third quarter.
Nothing fancy here. This is just going to be come right at you, in-your-face football by the Raiders. Mose Bard, Giesick, Andy Parker, the tight end, screening off Woods, and Marcus Allen just has to go over the top, but pretty effective at the point attack. They'll take 5 yards on first down anytime.
2nd and 5 from the 38. And Beuerlein off the fingertips of Marcus Allen. And again, they love to use Allen as a receiver, but less now because of that cast.
And almost as, again, I think that cast has got to handicap Marcus Allen to some degree. Here he goes, getting around Schultz. Schultz trying to stay right with him. The ball thrown just maybe a little long, but he could do nothing with the left hand whatsoever. Wayne Harper there to put the pop on Marcus Allen. Got to be tough. We're playing that game almost one-handed.
Shotgun, 3rd down, 5 at the 38-yard line. And Beuerlein off the fingertips at the 43-yard line of the intended receiver. Timmy Brown hit by Vernon Dean. And Brown slow and getting up.
You know, as we watch these patterns being run, Brown there, Marcus Allen out of the backfield, you have to realize how much the Raiders are missing Todd Christensen, their tight end, who usually is leading the league or right up there with them. He, of course, is on the injured reserve. You have to make up for a loss of a man who usually gets 75 or 80 receptions, and they're doing it. Tim Brown over the middle. They're using Marcus Allen out of the backfield.
Gossett, good deep kick, fielded at the 17-yard line by Bobby Joe Edmonds and tackled immediately by Stephon Adams. 10:42 to play in the third quarter. 21-20 CF.
Give me a hot, dusty day any time of year. Give me my favorite Ford and mud up to here, 'cause I love getting dirty. Love getting dirty. Yes, I love getting dirty. So give me rain and puddles in my 4x4. Give me a brand new Ranger and I'll never be bored, 'cause I love getting dirty.
Newly designed Ford Ranger.
Yes, I love getting dirty.
See the entire lineup of tough Ford trucks during the Ford Truck Month celebration.
I have a very long Christmas shopping list. A whole football team that my career depends on. But my shopping is easy because they let me know exactly what they want. Isotoner gloves for men. I buy isotoners for the big guys and the super fast little guys and everyone in between. Because isotoners fit them all. So this Christmas, take care of the hands that take care of you with Isotoner gloves.
Way to go, Dan.
Thanks a lot.
Gene, it's almost time.
Yeah, bachelor time's running out.
I think the key word here is out.
Poker with the guys.
Out. Handkerchief out. No, handkerchief is in. Fun and laughter out.
Now station wagon's in. Bowling, what's bowling?
I don't bowl. Learn. It's the only way you'll ever get out with us.
You see how that works, Dave?
For the friendship. The clean, crisp taste of Beechwood-aged Budweiser.
Let's go get him married.
Yeah. Now, poor Sue.
Next week, the Chicago Bears are on the prowl. They'll encounter the Los Angeles Rams on ABC's Monday Night Football. It's the only way to kick off your week.
The impeccably coiffed Todd Christensen on injured reserve, knee and calf injuries, and should be back in a couple of weeks. Caught 47 balls last year and 95 2 years ago.
And he's standing there talking to Jay Schrader, and if Steve Beuerlein doesn't start throwing the football a little better, I wouldn't be surprised to see Schrader later in this second half. Beuerlein has really been off target.
Seattle at the 18, 1st and 10. Krieg going to work, and he hits Tice, the tight end, and he takes it out to the 24-yard line. He's tackled there by Lyndon King. Talk about experience. As far as the linebackers are concerned, King is in his 11th, Matt Millen in his 9th, Jerry Robinson in his 10th, and Rod Martin in his 12th. There's your fearsome foursome.
As much as anything, I think that has led the Raiders to playing a lot of 4-down linemen. They did it almost exclusively last week against Atlanta. Less of it here tonight. But they're getting a little long in the tooth at linebacker.
I'll guarantee you they've got rocking chairs in their meeting room.
2nd and 4 at the 24-yard line. Krieg falls down as he had to reach to get the ball into the hands of John L. Williams, and Rod Martin makes the tackle. We were talking at the very beginning of the show tonight, the completion percentage of Beuerlein coming into the game, 46% for the year, 25% tonight, and those figures are skewed, of course, by the long pass to Brown. There it is. That's up to date. Schrader at 41%.
Unfair for Schrader. He had not been working with the Redskins when he was traded here. They traded him the opening week of the season. They threw him into the lineup, and he did not know the offense. He physically wasn't sound, and they think that he is ready to go. He's worked well in practice, and we still could see him tonight.
3rd and 2 out of the shotgun from the 26-yard line. And Scansey, who caught the touchdown pass that gave Seattle the lead, has a 1st down here at the 29-yard line. Knew exactly where he had to be. They had to get to the 28. He goes to the 29 and a 1st down.
Credit the rest of the Seahawk offensive unit. Raiders came with a safety blitz, and they picked it up impeccably. And Dave Krieg again was afforded that field of vision that he's had most of the night. The Raiders generally ineffective getting to Dave Krieg and either sacking him or forcing him to throw off balance.
Seahawks lead 21-20, 1st and 10 at the 30. Tice in motion. Fake to Williams, and open is Warner, and he drops the ball. He got behind Rod Martin and simply drops it.
I mean, you knew it was coming sooner or later on 1st down. The Seattle Seahawks almost all night, every time on 1st down, have been slamming the ball up in there. A perfectly executed play pass, Frank.
Beats the linebacker, and I think this is a question of Kurt Warner, who isn't used too much in the passing game. Maybe taking his eyes off the ball just as it got there. He was thinking 6 points all the way. He had beaten Martin completely, and this would have only been his 17th reception of the season, but that's why you get a linebacker to cover you when they don't anticipate you're going to be the intended receiver.
Boy, you set that one play up all night long, and then it doesn't work.
2nd and 10 at the 30. Tice can't make the one-handed catch, and it will be 3rd down and 10. Lionel Washington covering on the play.
And when it's off Mike Tice's fingertips, it's a pretty poorly thrown ball because he's 6'7".
And much more involved in their passing game this year. We mentioned a career high for him in pass receptions.
Yeah, the best season was 15 receptions. He's a former quarterback out of Maryland. Started there as a quarterback before coming up some 8 years ago.
I bet he was difficult to handle on the quarterback draw. 6'7", 245.
Brother of John Tice of the New Orleans Saints.
Looks more like a power forward in the NBA.
4 receivers. Out of the gun on 3rd and 10. And deep for Butler. And he can't make the catch. At the 30-yard line. He had it for the moment. He'd gotten a step on Washington and couldn't hold on.
Beautifully thrown once again by Krieg, who is exhibiting a great touch here tonight. And they tried the switch in the line that got the touchdown by Townsend earlier, but here again is Butler down the sidelines. He is there. That ball was almost caught by Krieg.
Really good coverage by Lionel Washington. I mean, he can only be beaten by a perfect throw, and that's exactly what Dave Krieg delivers. And we have seen some sloppy receiving by the Seahawks here in this drive.
Rodriguez to kick, Brown to receive. Low kick, Brown at the 35, slips by Jenkins, and then runs into his own man at the 42-yard line. Runs into Ron Brown, and Wyman and Mueller exchange pre-Christmas salutations.
Again, Butler wide open. That could have made a major difference. They had blocked out the deal by the Raiders defensive line. They blocked it out beautifully, and Krieg was right on target. Butler just did not handle it.
What do you think of the Ford Festiva?
It's big.
It's small. Sort of a big smallness.
Cutest little thing.
Festiva gives you features like a roomy interior, 660 powertrain warranty, sometimes even your own parking space. So it's big and small.
How about Festiva's price?
It's small.
Small.
It's nothing.
Ford Festiva. Call it big, call it small, call it yours for only $56.99.
Have you driven a Ford lately?
What happened when Sony put this color TV and full-featured VCR into this machine? They shrunk. Introducing Sony Video Walkman. It takes video out of your home and into your life. Look under specially marked chunky lids and you could win this year's Chunky Sweepstakes, $500,000 worth of prizes, including a trip to be an honorary coach at the Pro Bowl in Hawaii.
They're not getting my job without a struggle.
Campbell's Chunky. It takes care of the meanest appetites.
When it comes to doing business with foreign lands, you gotta know how to balance your trade. You gotta know the times. You gotta know your zones. You gotta know how to speak the language. You gotta bring things in from far away. You gotta know their destinations. Your customers are waiting at the end of the line. Now is no time for complications. This reminder from Federal Express that it's not just a package. It's your business.
Tomorrow on the American agenda, the savings and loan crisis. Taxpayers may have to shell out billions to protect their own savings. Watch ABC's World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
The Raiders have the ball at their own 42-yard line, 1st and 10. Seattle leading 21-20. Bo Jackson to the outside. And boy, you really pay the price when you tackle Bo Jackson.
Yeah, the Seahawks tackled him twice. He not only went down, he came up and was over in the bench and got tackled again.
Bo Jackson back at the Kingdome. Boy, he was hot as a Royal. 5 homers in his last 19 at-bats here. And, of course, the scene of his biggest night as a professional football player. The incredible performance almost a year ago tonight. And by far his best outing ever in a Raider uniform. 2nd down 4 from the 48. Jackson again, 1st down, and he's wrapped up at the 46-yard line. Como makes the stop, and a little skirmish breaks out, and it precipitates a flag. Lofton and Mosbar and Harper among those involved in the middle of it.
I think it was Lofton and Harper that were the initial combatants.
Lofton coming in just a little late on Dwayne Harper.
James Lofton was attempting to block Dwayne Harper. I don't know if the flag. Watch the upper left. There's James Lofton. He's going to make his move on Harper, but now keep following it. Keep rolling this tape, and you'll see.
Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness, number 80. Offense.
They're going to hit each other again, even after that.
Penalty from the dead ball spot. It'll be second down.
When have you last seen an unnecessary roughness called against a wide receiver?
Not known to be overly aggressive and attack-oriented. There's one shot. There's another shot.
There probably has been going on all night.
Well, normally what you see are offsetting penalties because if the officials miss the initial contact, then they see the two guys each reaching for the other's face mask, and it's normally offsetting, but he makes the correct call here.
Only in Greco-Roman wrestling is the aggressor rewarded.
Wait a minute.
And in amateur boxing, ostensibly.
You're getting dangerous. I have to get you a clicker.
He kept it up.
Yeah, but we need a new name for it.
A what?
A player's clicker.
Second and 12. And the Raiders having trouble getting the play off with the crowd rising to the occasion. Jacob Green coming across the line, and we'll see about this call.
Ball start, number 60, offense. Second down.
Deja vu in the first quarter.
Rory Graves, a former Seahawk. In fact, when he was here in '86, he spent all of his time practicing against Jacob Green. Tonight he does it for real.
There he is.
Yeah.
Size 56 on your right there.
That's it. Three silhouettes on the shade. Second and 18 from the 34. Jackson to the 36-yard line. And again, Lofton starts to get in it, this time with Jenkins, but no flag.
James Lofton getting a little feisty here during the course of this game.
He's been around 11 years. You know, you usually try to stay out of these sorts of things if you're a wide receiver. This is Terry Taylor. They have a few words.
That's Melvin Jenkins, I believe, 24. Boy, are they at each other's throat. That was a good job that time. Go by James Lofton. Really an effective block.
Third and 16 from the shotgun. Four receivers out into the pattern. And Gall can't make the catch at the 46-yard line.
That was a poorly thrown ball by Beuerlein. That was a good move by Galt against a defense. 5 defensive backs in there on the nickel defense. He was able to get open on the sidelines, and Beuerlein just didn't get it there. And are we going to see a Schrader?
Well, Jay Schrader was the first guy to pat Beuerlein on the backside when he came off the field.
Fair catch by Bobby Joe Edmonds at the 28-yard line. Seattle has the ball. 6:06 to go in the third quarter. And we also have a penalty marker down at the 38-yard line. Ineligible man downfield. Mark Wright wants to talk this over with Seattle. They may take the kick as it is.
Yeah, it wasn't a very long kick.
Illegal man downfield on the kick, number 44, kicking team. Penalty declined. First down, timeout.
They'll take it at the 28. 6:06 to go. Third quarter in Seattle, where the Seahawks lead the Raiders by a point.
It's a Radio Shack Merry Christmas.
The Tandy 1000 HX computer is a great family gift. It was sale priced at only $4.99.
And with this color monitor, the system was still less than $7.99.
It's IBM PC compatible and comes with easy-to-use desk-made software.
So the kids can do homework, and we can play Christmas music.
And the $200 savings helps me balance our budget.
Save $200 on the Tandy 1000 HX, only $4.99 with software. Complete system less than $7.99. Only at Radio Shack.
Another day, another hobby. lovely.
I hope you like it.
You know, it reminds me of when we first got electric light back when I was a child.
Oh.
Daddy used to draw his chair up to that light and read to us. Oh, the memories. But, Harold, this is the 80s. And I wanted a Bud Light.
If you want the one light that outshines them all, ask for Bud Light.
Kill the light, will you, Harold?
Oh, because everything else is just a light.
The hoops are hot when Louisville battles the Indiana Hoosiers. Then, Notre Dame meets Kentucky on ABC's College Basketball Big Four Classic Saturday.
The U.S., the UN, and the PLO, by barring Yasser Arafat from this country, is the United States making Middle East peace efforts that much more difficult. That's the subject matter tonight on ABC News Nightline, following your late local news. Seattle with the ball at its own 28-yard line. They lead by 1. 6 minutes to play in the third quarter. Quick toss to John L. Williams. And he takes it out to the 32-yard line. It's the type of play the Seahawks have been going to on first down tonight on every occasion but that one, when they set up the perfect pass to Kurt Warner and he simply dropped the ball.
Yasser Arafat is getting so much publicity about possibly coming to this country. He's on the verge of becoming so famous that Jerry Glanville might leave him a pass.
For the wild card game. 2nd and 5 at the 33. Warner. And it's going to be 3rd and a yard or 2 as Bill Packel, number 71, makes the tackle. Silently doing a good job as always this season in his 6th year out of Rutgers.
Precipitated one of the Raiders' touchdowns when the Greg Townsend was able to fall on in the end zone.
That's right, running that line stunt where he came up through the middle. I guess the question now is, when Dave Krieg goes to the air the next time he chooses to pass, is someone in a blue jersey going to hold on to the football?
And he figures to choose to pass here out of the shotgun on 3rd down and a short 2. And he sends Williams in motion. And he throws for Williams. It's intercepted at the 41-yard line by Reggie McKenzie. Inside the 30, and McKenzie takes it to the 17-yard line.
And it's really Steve Largent that has to come back and maybe save a touchdown.
Bad pass by Krieg. He has had the touch all night long. This time he tried to loft it over McKenzie, and McKenzie did not even have a difficult time getting it. Then he turns into a running back. Here's Krieg again back. Now trying to just touch it, get lofted over the outstretched arms of McKenzie. No chance.
Look at this footwork. Look at him stay on his feet.
Running back.
But here comes Steve Largent hustling back into the play. Mike Wilson over there as well.
At the 17-yard line, Bo Jackson gets turned outside and out of bounds by Bruce Schultz, able to fight off Marcus Allen's attempted block, and Krieg angry with himself. Reggie McKenzie in his 55th career game and his 2nd career interception.
That's one tough quarterback, Dave Krieg. Not all that physical, but mentally he is about as tough as you're going to get. And he is really down on himself right now.
Well, in my estimation, he's thrown the ball brilliantly tonight.
He has.
With the exception of that pass, he's really thrown the ball well.
2nd and 10. Jackson on a draw, nothing, and he had trouble controlling the football. May have come loose for the moment, but he falls on top of it, and the tackle is credited to Bruce Schultz.
Again, it looked like Beuerlein and Bo Jackson have trouble making a connection. Look how far away Beuerlein is trying to get him the football. One of those two people was in the wrong position because the quarterback should never have to reach that far to make a handoff. That's why Jackson had trouble controlling the ball.
Jackson comes out in this passing situation. 3rd down and 13. Brown and Fernandez come to the left, and Goff goes to the right. And Lofton stays in the block as Beuerlein rolls, throws back, and it's caught by Brown, and he's out of bounds at the 3-yard line. Timmy Brown
That time, excellent play by Beuerlein. Kept his cool, raced out of the pocket. Really doesn't have a chance to think when he's being pursued like that. But give it to Tim Brown again. He made sure that there was a good passing angle for Beuerlein from the shotgun. And that's Beuerlein with a little tiny roll, but he has to make a big roll out. But he's watching Tim Brown come from clear across the field, opening up. Another fine effort by Tim Brown as Beuerlein gets popped at the end of it.
And I think that's a design rollout all the way. This is strictly a one-man pattern with Timmy Brown, and look at Steve Beuerlein take that shot at the very end.
From Nesby Glasgow. Meanwhile, here's Smith through the middle for a touchdown. Steve Smith carries the ball for the first time tonight, and it's into the end zone. And he is Mr. Monday night for the Raiders. The last time we had the Raiders, he caught those 2 screen passes from Schrader to lead the comeback against Denver.
And that's what Dave Krieg was shaking his head about on the sidelines. That interception setting up the go-ahead touchdown for the Raiders. Huge gaping hole for Smith.
Steve Wright, one of the Raider offensive linemen, right at the point of attack with a big block. Number 66. And Smith just relatively easily finds the end zone.
Barr for the extra point. And so Craig's interception comes back to haunt him. Raiders take advantage and put up the first points of the second half.
From the fullback position out of the eye. But again, you have to go back and credit the touchdown to the rollout by Beuerlein and the pass to Timmy Brown. A designed rollout all the way. And Tim Brown, the intended receiver on a crossing pattern, when it's executed properly by the offense, almost impossible to stop.
More and more, you look at Timmy Brown and say, is there anything he can't do? We watched him run the football tonight. We watched him as a receiver. We watched him take a kickoff almost all the way back.
And doesn't this game of football always seem to boil down to this graphic? Turnovers equal points.
And tonight they've equaled 21 of the Raiders' 27. Steve Smith, 1 carry, 8 touchdowns. .323 to play now in the third quarter. Raiders leading 27-21, again setting the AFC West. Denver leading 7-6. Winner of this game joins Denver. Loser falls a game back with 3 to go. Next week the Raiders take on Denver. Seattle goes to New England. Barr's kick fielded at the 6-yard line. Bobby Joe Edmonds taken down at the 40-yard line. The tackle made by Stephon Adams.
We talked a lot about Timmy Brown, but Bobby Joe Edmonds has gone to the Pro Bowl as a return man himself. He is just kind of taking the back seat to the remarkable Timmy Brown tonight. Pops a big one, however, and gets Seattle in good field position. And the only way you can run back a kickoff and be successful with it, Pro Bowl successful, is the way Tim Brown runs it and the way Bobby Joe Edmonds runs it. See your hole, kick it into high gear, and just let it rip and forget all about the body, because you know you're going to get pounded no matter what speed that you motor through the hole.
1st and 10. Seahawks at the 40-yard line. Krieg, deep for Blaze. Makes the catch at the 20. Gets to the 11.
Another perfect shot by Krieg.
If you exclude the interception, he's right back where he left off.
Fellows again, the victim, didn't get his bump. Tried to sprint with Blades. He's got pretty good speed. He's not a blazing speedster. They tried to get the help from Eddie Anderson on the inside, but Krieg didn't lay that up at all. He rifled this ball.
You get the impression by looking at it there that this ball was thrown just about as far as David Krieg can launch it, and look at that tight spiral. Again, I go back to the line of scrimmage. I don't understand why Ron Fellows isn't attempting to get a little more of a bump on his receivers. He's trying to cover. They're getting off cleanly.
49-yard gain on 1st down. Flag is down at the line of scrimmage as Warner takes the ball to the 7-yard line. Head linesman through the flag. Malcolm Taylor makes the tackle.
motion. Number 89, offense. First down.
Brian Blades, perhaps moving forward. Well, he's entitled. 49-yard gain followed by a 5-yard penalty.
Keep in mind, whenever the Seahawks really wanted to get something happening, they worked over in the right side, working against fellows, and they line up both wide receivers over there at the moment.
On 1st and 15, Largent in motion. And Krieg for Butler. Picked off. Lionel Washington.
Former Redskin. Key interception for the Raiders.
Not a well-thrown ball by Krieg. You don't need me to tell you that with the interception, but he has an open receiver. Butler is actually going to break open, but Krieg throws the ball too deep into the end zone. He makes Butler have to go way back to get it. And it comes off the back of Butler's helmet. You can see there the ball actually hit Butler's helmet and ricochets to Lionel Washington. Oh, talk about a gift there.
And talk about reaction on the part of Washington.
On 1st down from the 20, Beuerlein throwing for Gold, and he can't make the catch at the 36-yard line.
Not a poorly thrown ball. That was thrown into the coverage and a ball that Willie Gault should have caught.
Well, I've seen a lot of Raider games this year on tape and on television and whatnot, and this is a $1 million receiving corps if ever there was one. But I've got to say this, that Gault and Lofton and Fernandez have had a lot of dropped balls this year. They have not given their quarterback a lot of help. I talked to Al Davis about it. I talked to Mike Shanahan about it, and it has been a recurring problem for the Raiders. Their big money guys have dropped a lot of passes this year.
And that graphic told you a lot. 1 catch in the last 6 games. Granted, he's been hurt, but 1 catch in 6 games is astonishing. Allen stopped by Bryant. The other thing that's pretty astonishing about this $1 million core of receivers, we talked about James Lofton before. He hasn't caught a touchdown pass all year. Gault, 1 catch in 6 games.
And you notice we're excluding Timmy Brown from this conversation.
Leading receiver into tonight with 32, and he's added to that this evening.
3rd and 8. Brown on the sideline on the 3rd and 8 from the 22-yard line. And that is nearly intercepted. And Marcus Allen had to turn into a defensive back to prevent Vernon Dean from making the interception.
He almost turned into one a little early.
What a poor pass from Steve Beuerlein.
Well, Vernon Dean certainly was open, and Beuerlein certainly hit him. He just has the wrong color jersey on him.
I mean, that's...
And Marcus Allen did save it.
Actually, it looked like Dean overran the ball a little bit.
Something that never shows up in the stats, but a big play by Allen. There's a flag down. Edmonds Fields at the 30. Back to the 38, and the penalty marker at the line of scrimmage.
Usually get the ineligible man downfield with those flags.
That is the preliminary indication from the head lineman. Confirmed by Mark Wright. Seahawks have the option now. Should the Raiders kick again, do they want the football at the 38? That's what it amounts to. So now Mark Wright seeking out one of the Seahawks, saying, what do you want to do? Do you want the ball at the 38, or should they kick again?
The legal man downfield on the kick, number 87. Kicking team, penalty declined. First down.
Trey Junkin was the man.
I guess it's a throwback to the old way in football where the captain on the field made all the decisions as to whether to accept the penalty or not. We've almost gotten to the stage where we'd be better off if the referee would just walk over to the sideline and ask the coach what he wants to do. It would like cut out the middleman in this process, having to go to the captain, who in turn has to look over to the sideline and beseech his coach to give him an indication.
So the special units, we need about 5 captains.
Bureaucracy at work. 38-yard line. Warner, big hole. Anderson rides him out at the 35-yard line. Mike Wilson's block paved it.
I guess. What a huge opening. Brian Millard is going to pull and trap all the way across the formation. Take a look at number 71, the right guard, and number 75.
What does that look like, Dan?
Wilson's going to turn upfield. Millard kicks to the outside, and of course, that's the old counter gap.
Everyone's got it.
Counter step by Warner, and
is there no shame?
Well, it's really a relatively old play. It's just that the Skins made it famous by running it better than anyone else.
Warner is now over 100 yards, and here's John L. Williams. Fellows finally takes him down, but after a 5-yard ride to the 30-yard line.
And in reality, that's the same play coming the other direction. That's the counter gap coming back to the right this time. Big hole to the left, and you talk about vintage Chuck Knox. This is going to be take a look at these two, the left side of the line, Bailey and Mattis. They're going to pull a counter step, and back around we come. And this is the old counter gap. There's the counter step by John L. Williams. That's time to get his lineman out in front. Normally, the back will turn it upfield. This time, Williams elected to take it to the outside.
2nd and 4. And Warner jumped, but got away with it. No flag, and Williams takes the ball to the 25-yard line. He was able to get set again as the quarter ends. So the Seahawks are driving. They're to the Raider 29 as we start the 4th quarter. L.A. leads by 6. Back in Seattle after this message about an upcoming show on ABC. And a word from your local station.
And George Siegel.
You treat me like some floozy.
Floozy?
Round heels.
Bimbo? This isn't a sing-along.
2 uncanny crime solvers. In a romance that's a real mystery. Murphy's Law premiering Saturday.
America's worst enemy may be our own military.
On some of those missiles, they're not sure whether they'll hit Washington or Moscow.
The business of defense, flaws in the shield, Thursday.
Introducing the new Sidekick from Suzuki. Available with everything you want in a rugged 4-wheel drive. Like cruise control, a cushy ride, power windows, power steering, yeah. Plus automatic transmission, fuel-injected 1.6-liter engine, and room for a whole bunch of Cocker Spaniels. The new Sidekick, a jewel on the road, a diamond in the rough, yeah. Expensive? Nah.
Honey?
Douglas is going away to camp.
So?
So who's going to program the VCR?
Panasonic understands. So this VCR is as simple to program as drawing a line. This Panasonic shows you what to do on screen. You can even use a phone to program this VCR.
My parents don't need me anymore. They got a Panasonic VCR too, huh?
If it's Panasonic, it's easy to program.
I'm Ernie Anastas on Eyewitness News. The testimony that shocked jurors at the Steinberg child murder trial and the woman making new sex charges in our school scandal right after the game.
Skinheads, an investigative report Tuesday at 6.
When you look at those numbers, you get high fives from the coaching staff if you have 389 yards in offense for an entire game. Seattle has done it in 3 quarters.
One item there. Yeah. 4 of them. Turnovers.
4 to 0.
Possession. Incredible for Seattle.
An extra 12 minutes for the Seahawks.
They're moving again.
3rd and 1. We start the 4th quarter from the 26-yard line. Looking for the first down is Warner to the 24-yard line, and we'll see where they mark the forward progress. Good enough for a first down. So the 4th quarter beginning here with the Raiders on top by a score of 27-21. And a reminder coming up on Saturday from the Hoosier Dome in Indianapolis. The Big 4 Classic. Louisville against Indiana. And Notre Dame against Kentucky. And you're looking at Bobby Knight and Digger Phelps. And we'll be in Anaheim next Monday where the Bears take on the Los Angeles Rams on Monday Night Football. 24-yard line, 1st and 10, Seattle.
There's a change-off.
The draw to John L. Williams. Swinging to the outside and finally tackled by Mike Haynes at the 16-yard line. Gain of 8.
And Rod Martin, the linebacker to that side, really effectively handled by Kurt Warner. Kurt Warner, having to act as the lead blocker, got right up in Rod Martin's face and occupied him to the point. Martin, the contained guy on that side, lets John L. get to the outside. And Kurt Warner, you think of what kind of a knee injury he battled back from, and to think that not only is he an effective ball carrier, but a receiver and a lead blocker as well. It's some testament as to what kind of a man he is.
2nd and a short 2, and Warner gets the 1st down, takes it to the 11-yard line. He's tackled by Malcolm Taylor.
That time it was Williams blocking for Warner. They've been doing it all night long. And I got to agree. I mean, he's went down in 1984. I don't think anyone ever thought he would come back from that injury the first game of the season, but he not only came back, he's had a couple of 1,000-yard seasons after that. Full reconstruction of the knee.
Yeah, you thought he might have gone the way, let's say, of Billy Sims when that happened.
Absolutely. A credit to not only whoever put him back together again, but the mental toughness. That's what you really have to play through.
From the 11-yard line on 1st down. Warner, not much there. Turan and Martin converge on the tackle. And it'll be 2nd down and 9 at the 10-yard line with 12 and a half minutes to play.
It's going to be no cakewalk into the end zone against the silver and black. That's one guarantee. That this is a spot on the field where the Raiders just bristle.
And over the left side, defensively, Ron Fellows, who has done all night long, he has been the target. They've really been working away from Mike Haynes over the right side, who is 35 years old, but he's having a great year. They've been working primarily against Fellows over on the right side.
Nobody's strapped on Mike Haynes since he came into this league.
2nd and 9. Quarterback draw. Craig gets wrapped up by Piquel at the 7-yard line. So it's going to be 3rd down and 6 for a 1st and 7 for a touchdown.
That's the 2nd time tonight that Craig has run on a quarterback draw. He did it early in the ball game, and interesting call for a quarterback recently back from as bad a shoulder injury as he had. Kept him out 7 weeks, and I don't know that I'd be so eager to have my quarterback running the ball.
And a little tough down there. You can see it a little better out in the open field, but everything is in there so tight when you're down there. Craig is not one of the great speedsters of our time.
3rd and 6, shotgun and 4 wide receivers. And Craig comes to the near side to Warner. Touchdown.
They don't use him often as a receiver, but that was a very conservative pass. Just get the ball to him and turn him into a running back. And he's a great one.
The block out front was made by Ron Mattis, the left tackle. And give Kurt Warner credit. He took the time to set up his blocker. Here's Mattis, the left tackle. He's going to drop back and then come out and make the kick. Watch Kurt Warner stutter, 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 and then cut up in behind Mattis.
Well, as an offensive lineman, Dan, you can appreciate that on the part of the running back. There it is.
There's the hesitation. Mattis gets the block on Eddie Anderson, and Kurt Warner, with that hesitation, ducks in behind him. And you're right, Frank. That's experience.
He took out a whole suburb of Seattle.
Norm Johnson's extra point is the difference right now, 28-27.
Mattis goes about 300 pounds. And he wiped out anything and everything that was in front of him, and it was all set up by 28. There's Mattis, number 70, the stutter step. Mattis takes everything inside. And touchdown, Seattle.
You can ride with the wind when you're one with the road. You can feel every move. You're in control. It's the new spirit. Gotta be the spirit of Dodge. It's the new spirit. The new spirit of Dodge. The new spirit of Dodge.
It happens every 7 seconds. every 7 seconds of every hour of every business day, America puts another new Epson computer or printer to work. It's true. When you've got an Epson, you've got a lot of company.
The Chicago Bears are sitting on top of the NFC Central. They'll face the Los Angeles Rams, their conference rival, on ABC's Monday Night Football next week.
Before the rampant inflation of the late 70s, the $6 million man.
Million isn't what it used to be.
No. It's all it takes these days to pry a linebacker from Chicago and bring him to Washington. Tim Brown. Tim Brown, every time he touches the ball, and a flag is down back at the 16-yard line. And that figures to negate much of that run back. Mark Bright checking with the side judge. As we await the call from the spot of the foul.
We have two holding calls on the same play. Number 56 and number 55 on the return. Will decline number 56. Will accept holding number 55. First down.
McCall and Millen.
Matt Millen is number 55. There he is right at the 15-yard line. And you're right, that's holding. He just grabs Vernon Dean's jersey and yanks him to the ground.
And I think what it amounts to is they accept the one that occurred further back to the Seahawks to pin the Raiders deeper.
And listen to the crowd.
From the 7. Allen is tripped up behind the line of scrimmage by Alonzo Mitz, number 61.
And here's where if you're a Raider, and particularly if you're Mike Shanahan, and you've had an erratic quarterback like Beuerlein, here's where you really get concerned. And there is the new owner of the Seattle Seahawks, a land developer down in California. And I know that's not as exciting as he has going here tonight.
Ken Behring, who owns his own golf course.
Yeah, I asked him his handicap. He smiled. He said, it's my course.
2nd and 11. From the 5, Beuerlein throws it off the fingertips of Tim Brown.
Hey, that's one you got to catch. That could have helped this youngster.
Beuerlein could have helped him by bringing it in a little more to his body, but I agree. I think we're going to see that's a very catchable ball. Beuerlein maybe could have made it easier, but Tim Brown's got to catch that ball. I don't know if he was expecting a hit coming across the middle from Harper or one of the safeties or whatever, but
you're going to get hit just as hard whether you catch it or you don't catch it.
3rd and 11 from the 6.
The shotgun here is going to be very tough for Beuerlein.
Picked off at the 15-yard line, David Hollis.
Beuerlein was trying to throw that away. Oh, that's shattering to a young quarterback.
And a young coach.
Well, first of all, he got lucky not being sacked in the end zone. He held the ball in the end zone an extremely long time. Watch how long he gets away with holding it in the end zone. He's lucky he wasn't hit from behind. And then, I don't know what he was trying to do. Maybe he was trying to get it to Marcus Allen and threw it over his head. Kids make mistakes. And Steve Beuerlein is a kid. And I guess you can say that he was trying to get it to Marcus Allen, and it took off on him, but
That's being kind.
that's a major error.
First interception of Hollis's 2-year NFL career. 13-yard line, John L. Williams. Gets to the 9-yard line. A little bit more than 10 minutes to play. Seahawks on top, 28-27. Lyndon King makes the tackle.
Tough night following a tough game last week against Atlanta.
And Jay Schrader is taking some snaps on the sideline. He's taking some snaps from the starting center, Bill Lewis. He hasn't taken off his baseball hat yet, but there's Jay taking some center exchanges. And it certainly has to be an option that's being mulled over in the mind of Mike Shanahan.
Second down, 6 from the 9. Warner. A first down at the 2.5. And a marker. And that is Matt Millen being checked out. And Schrader continues to loosen up. We'll see about Mark Wright's call. He spots the ball at the 3. Initially.
You think it's going to have something to do with encroachment or something, because it was called by the line judge here, the near side.
Defense. It'll be second down again.
Apparently, when they spotted it after the run, he didn't have the first down. Otherwise, they would have taken the play. And because of that, they take the penalty instead. It doesn't cost them the down. Second down in inches now. At the 3-yard line. Seahawks out of a tight formation. Warner tries to go through the middle. He only needs about a half a yard.
I don't think he got it.
No, definitely not with that spot.
Not even close.
Third down and 1. Reggie McKenzie amongst those leading the charge, making the stop.
3rd and 1. Frank, I know you and I are thinking the same thing.
Oh, wouldn't you love to see it? But you don't see it very often with Chuck Knox. Of course, we're talking play action and pop that thing into the end zone.
Kurt Warner sailing about 4 or 5 feet off the ground on the fake, right into the pile, and Dave Krieg coming out of there, either running it in or just tossing it to someone for an easy touchdown.
They'll have to do it to a tight end if they throw it. Instead, it's Warner on a simple play through the middle of first down. He lost the ball. And recovered by the Raiders. Can you believe that? Mike Haynes comes up with it. He had the first down, did Warner, lost the football. Raiders get a gigantic break.
Boy, Mike Tice opens it up. John L. Williams with the lead block. And a first down, yardage-wise for Seattle, but somehow the ball comes out. This is reverse angle. Let's look at it from the other side. This ought to offer us some sort of a vantage point here to see. Well, the ball comes out. The Seattle folks here are booing. They think Kurt Warner was down.
Good shot by Fellows, who has been in trouble all night long at the cornerback. He was the one that jarred it loose.
A part of Kurt Warner's body has to be touching the field before he's down. On that replay, it looked like a good call by the official. And you wonder if they're not taking a look at it. They took a look at it in instant replay, and they agreed with the officials that he's not down. It is indeed a fumble, and first down, Los Angeles.
And a lot of credit to Fellows. And it's still Beuerlein in at quarterback at the 2-yard line. Allen gives them a lot of room with a first down to the 18-yard line. Marcus Allen bursts through the middle, and the Raiders now trying to capitalize on Seattle's 5th turnover. 8 minutes to play.
Boy, and that is a big, big play for the Raiders, getting Beuerlein out of that end zone. Just look at it. I mean, this is as simple as it comes. Straight away blocking up the middle. And take a look at the trap coming in. Steve Smith with the lead block, and wow. Boy, you don't expect a guy to break that clean down on your own 1-yard line.
Now Bo Jackson in the game with Smith. Fernandez in motion. Jackson wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage. Number 53, Darren Como, the man spelling Bosworth.
What a super football game. Both of these teams staying in there no matter what has happened to them. They've had all kinds of adversity on either side. They've hung in there.
Loss of 3, 2nd and 13. 7:05 to go. Seahawks lead 28-27. Jackson and Smith in the backfield. Beuerlein has it tipped, and then it's caught at the 17-yard line by the tight end Andy Parker. But that turns out to be simply a 2-yard gain. Alonzo Mitz got his, well, shall we say, mitts on it. 3rd down.
And Andy Parker just doubled his receiving total for the year. I think he only had 1 catch coming into tonight's ball game. If that's his first catch of the evening, he's just really padded his totals. Good hustle on his part, though.
Meanwhile, the crowd responds. It's unbelievable. They're replaying every controversial play on the screen here. And to the crowd, it looked as if he didn't make the catch. Timeout is called by the officials here. Well, that's the replay screen. A league rule says you don't replay controversial plays, but the reason is simple, because you can get the crowd incited to the point where, you know, on a worst-case basis, the officials would be in physical jeopardy.
Well, how about if we look at it? No one's in jeopardy here. We'll see if Parker does come up with this ball, or does he trap it? Ooh, he traps it all the way. Whoa! Oh, that is a trap. Sorry, Andy, you're going to be back to 1 catch.
And it doubled his output.
No, that's a trap all the way. You could clearly see the ball bouncing off the ground.
We had an awful lot of replays tonight.
And another one here.
Seemingly so.
This is ruled incomplete.
Yep.
Incomplete.
That was a one-hopper.
3rd and 13. George Slapke is the replay official. He has been a busy man.
Machine up there smoking.
Hope he's got a super VHS. Shotgun. 3rd and 13 from the 15. Flag. Play is dead. Jeff Bryant came across. Was he drawn is the question.
I think Chris Ream, the left guard, flinched.
Ball start. Number 77, offense. Turn down.
He is the flincher, I suppose.
They're using some kind of strange count to offset the noise here in the stadium, and they've been unsuccessful all night.
There's Ream. Watch him do a little stutter. There it is right there. That's all it takes. That's all it takes. Jeff Bryant comes across and finishes it off, but that's 5 yards worth of movement.
3rd and 18 before this foot-stomping crowd. Beuerlein rolling, coming back, and banged down at the 5-yard line by David Wyman. And Vernon Dean came up to hit him as well. And the Raiders bring the punting unit in. And they like to do this in a hurry.
I think Wyman was the guy that was going to bring him down, but Vernon Dean he's the fellow that gave Beuerlein the shot he's not going to forget right away. And Frank, dangerous running around in your own end zone.
It is. Wyman, a bit of a medical marvel.
Set up quickly for the punt. They get it away off the foot of Gossett. Edmonds at the 46. Back to the 35-yard line. Mueller brings him down, and the Seahawks have it at the Raiders 35 with 6 minutes, 3 seconds remaining in the game. Seattle still leading by 1.
Why do you care what I eat for breakfast?
Maybe we shouldn't discuss this while you're under the influence of sugar and preservatives.
And what should I be influenced by? Nuts and twigs?
Kellogg's Nutri-Grain cereal with no sugar added and no preservatives.
This is much better than I thought.
Yeah, kind of like me.
Dedicated to the ones we love.
Now find out for yourself.
Why, the better taste of Nutri-Grain nuggets makes it the best tasting nugget.
You'll find it at the heart of every truck we build. It's on the street and off the road. It's the new spirit of performance.
The top new spirit of Dodge.
Get ready for the Big Four Classic. It'll be Louisville versus Indiana, Notre Dame versus Kentucky, coming up on an ABC college basketball doubleheader Saturday.
Well, we may see Schrader, but for a different reason here. There are Beuerlein's numbers, 4 for 19 on the night, but he really took a lick on that last play, and he's hurt.
Vernon Dean is the guy that comes in and really puts a shot onto the left shoulder of Steve Beuerlein. There he is, Wyman, but there's the shot from Dean, and all during that timeout, the medical people of the Raiders were looking at Beuerlein, and Schrader threw away his baseball cap and grabbed his helmet.
First things first, though, the Raiders have to get the ball back, and Warner takes the ball to the 25-yard line for a first down.
The Artful Dodger. He makes more people miss. Little stutter step, darting, squirting out of almost impossible situations.
If Schrader does come into the ball game, one thing for sure is he's going to be behind. The question now is how far behind. Right now the Raiders trail by a single point, and the Seahawks already at the 25-yard line, well into scoring territory already.
He'll either be 1, 4, or 8 points behind. First and 10 from the 25-yard line. John L. Williams to the 24. You know, a funny thing, it's not as if you sit up here and second guess Knox's call when Warner gets the ball the last time, but here's Williams talking about Williams and the fact he fumbles less than anybody in the league, and yet they gave it to Warner on that 3rd and short. And Warner must feel as if he has a second life because it didn't cost him. And there it is, Warner at 123, Williams 101. First time in the history of the Seahawks, and they came into the league in '76. You got two guys going for 100 or more yards in the game.
Al, to finish off your point, the only thing I can say is it's difficult to argue with ever putting the ball in Kurt Warner's hands. If he wants it, I say let him have it.
No, it's more ironic than anything else. Is what it amounts to. Second down and 9 from the 24. Here's Williams again, and the sure-handed one takes the ball to the 20-yard line. Talked about Williams without a fumble this year. You wouldn't believe it. It's one of those records that just gets lost in obscurity and anonymity. Gerald Riggs of Atlanta in 1985 handled the ball 430 times. 430 times and didn't fumble once.
That is remarkable.
There it is, and you can see how much of a record that is in terms of Matt Snell is second at 279. That's 151 less handles. Amazing. Third and a long 4 from the 20, and Krieg going for it all into the end zone. Touchdown! Lewis Clark's first catch of the night.
And it appears that they'll be 8 points down when the Raiders get the ball.
Another Seattle Seahawk who has come off the injured reserve out most of the season with a hamstring, and was it Chuck Knox who told us we'd see him when they got down close? Liked his leaping ability.
Again, we're looking at a perfect pass being needed by Dave Krieg, and you be the judge. Look at this throw.
Oh, a lot of pushing and a lot of grabbing.
Washington on the inside, Anderson on the outside, and the guy in the middle, Lewis Clark, finds the ball coming right to him. Another perfect throw by David Krieg.
He's had the 2 interceptions, but for the most part, he has been absolutely perfect tonight. He's thrown into some very delicate areas, threaded the needle, and that time it was absolutely perfect. It had to be. That was good coverage.
Well, the Raiders dodged the bullet when Warner fumbled at the 2, but they can't get away this time, and boy, are they going to need some magic from Jay Schrader.
3:40 to play in Seattle, 35-27 Seahawks.
All right, stand by. Replay on slow-mo A. Roll A and dissolve A. Good. Roll C. Wipe C. Let's get White and out on camera 8 over there. Nod so I know you're there, somebody. Ready, D. Get back to the coach on that. Okay, let's go to camera 5, please. White and out. Ready, camera 8. Take 8. I didn't know your family was in town. Go to camera 2. Nice work, people. Very nice work.
For the teamwork, the clean, crisp taste of Beechwood aged Budweiser.
So what are you going to do tonight? Probably watch TV.
We asked 100 doctors with sore, aching wrists which pain reliever they'd recommend. They chose the Skill Twist Cordless Power Screwdriver, now available in extra strength.
The Skill Super Twist at hardware stores and home centers.
When you get zapped by circumstances beyond your control, it's good to know that MetLife works hard to pay your claim promptly. Get Met. It pays.
Send up a crow's foot. Give me an F check.
There's a place in the friendly skies where not everyone's so friendly.
Stop. Hold it. I need 3 hours minimum. Check it out.
Over 9,000 mechanics of United Airlines work here.
Give me a mini grinder.
They're picky, fussy, stubborn. But if you fly, they're the best friends you'll ever have. United, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve. Come fly the friendly skies.
Lewis Clark with a touchdown, his first ever NFL catch. Second-year man out of Mississippi State as Tim Brown is back to receive Johnson's kick.
I don't know why they're kicking to this guy. I really don't.
And this time they cover it at the 18-yard line. And Rufus Porter, who has been a wild man on special teams, rookie out of Southern, comes flying down. We've got him isolated.
This is how you make a football team if you're a rookie free agent, and that's what Rufus Porter is. The only way you stay around is covering kicks, being crazy, running with abandon, and then putting the hat on somebody.
Freddie Young, who made the Seattle Seahawks team a few years ago doing just this, turned into an all-pro linebacker, and of course is now sporting around with Indianapolis.
And Jay Schrader is in at quarterback at the 19-yard line. First time he's been in over a month. And his first pass is caught at the 34-yard line by Mervyn Fernandez. And Swervin Mervyn, as he was known in Canada, takes it out to the 36-yard line.
How about Mervyn keeping his feet after that catch? Not going down, and the hurry up by the Raiders. No huddle.
Mervyn is 6'3", and it helped there. That ball was going well over him.
Raiders have all of their timeouts left. They're down by 8 as Schrader steps up and then can't get the ball into the hands of Marcus Allen. Let him too much. 2nd and 10. David Wyman put the pressure on Schrader on the blitz.
I think Jay, at this point in time, is saying, all in all, I would have rather started. A very difficult situation for a guy who's really not had any sort of a warm-up or any recent playing time to have to come into a ball game.
The only question I have is whether this precipitated by the injury to Beuerlein or whether Shanahan just figures he's looking for the hot hand.
I think it's a little of both. Yeah. Beuerlein looked hurt when he came off the field after that hit by Dean.
2nd and 10 at the 36-yard line. Schrader is sacked at the 28. David Wyman.
Wyman, another big play.
Como and Wyman, 2 inside backers tonight. 2 guys playing in spots that at one time or another occupied by Bosworth and Freddie Young. 3rd and 19. Almost picked off. Too high for Brown. And it's 4th and 19.
And every time Jay Schrader has thrown the ball so far, it has not been where he wanted it to be. You had the one catch by Fernandez, but he had to go way up there to get it. He's had a couple floaters, and then the one that was way out in front of Marcus Allen.
They're going to go on a 4th and 19. 2:43 remaining. They have 3 timeouts remaining. What a tough spot to have a quarterback that's been on the bench all night long and for several weeks to be facing.
Looking at Beuerlein, you could see him wince when he signaled in. I get the feeling he'd be in there if he wasn't hurt.
They have to get to the 47-yard line. And Schrader throws. It's deep enough for a first down. Catch made by Brown, who breaks the tackle and out of bounds at the 40. Tim Brown running a route, and as he made the catch, he had the first down and then picks up 10 more.
Oh, he's showtime, isn't he? Clutch catch. Not a bad delivery. Schrader forced out of the pocket. Let's watch Brown. He's on the inside. Drives it upfield. Gets to yardage. Turns back. Not bad defensive play. Could have even been pass interference.
Yeah, Hollis really
right there
makes some contact, and Tim Brown opts to go for the sidelines rather than making something happen. I don't know. He might have been better off. I'd rather have that guy take it to the middle of the field anytime.
First down, 39-yard line. And the catch is made by Galt, and he is taken out of bounds at the 23-yard line. Seattle playing soft, and the Raiders taking advantage there with 2:27.
How many times do we see it? Prevent defense, let them have everything underneath. A lot of time left in this game, 2:27.
I don't think you're even going to see Harper in the picture here. Now, folks, that's a loose cushion. When the receiver catches the ball and you have to wait a couple of seconds for the corner even to come into our frame, that's loose coverage. And that time Harper was so far off Galt, I'll be surprised if they don't come right back to it.
Catlin, of course, the defensive coordinator. He's the one that makes the defensive decisions.
First and 10 from the 23-yard line, and it's intercepted at the 14-yard line by Hollis. His second of the game, and you can write a finish to this one.
And that's a late hit. There go the flags. That's stupid. That's frustrating, and that's James Lofton.
Well, he's been an action man all night. Somebody must have upset him early in this game.
That'll be 15 yards against the Raiders, but Hollis brilliantly anticipating the throw, steps in front.
Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness. Late hit out of bounds, number 80. Raiders, first down, Seattle.
Lofton, if you saw, was the intended receiver. Coach Hollis stepped right in front for the interception.
How far out of bounds was David Hollis? I mean, the play was clearly over when Lofton comes in and hits him. The Raider people are telling Kenny Wolf, our producer down in the truck, that it was strictly Mike Shanahan's decision to go ahead with Jay Schrader, that Steve Beuerlein was not injured to the extent that he couldn't have gone back in and played. So a coaching decision all the way to go with Jay Schrader.
And you saw Al Davis, the ball at the 42-yard line. Warner to the 39-yard line, and a lot of people laugh when you say coach's decision with the Raiders. They say, "Oh, Davis gets on the phone." Davis doesn't get on the phone. In fact, one of the things Davis talked about this week is he said, "Look, I got a young coach. If I go in and I start giving him too much, shall we say, advice, I could shake his confidence and the confidence of the staff. I hire this guy. I trust him. I think he's a bright guy. I got to let him do his thing."
Tough situation for Mike Shanahan. And so many changes on that offensive line.
A tough situation for Mike Shanahan, because I think Al Davis has also let it be known that he's less than thrilled with the way Shanahan has run the team in terms of the kind of offense. Al Davis thinks it's a little bit more of a horizontal offense rather than the old-fashioned vertical down the field offense the Raiders have always run in the past. And you know, I'm sure Mike Shanahan has heard some of those things.
Well, Davis describes it as Shanahan is a guy who likes to teach what he calls scheme football. As, let's say, the way Dean Smith teaches basketball at North Carolina, scheme basketball, as opposed to the old Raider style of pretty much matchup football. Strength against weakness. Second and 6. Warner to the 35-yard line, and the Raiders are going to, let's see, not take a timeout because they get a free one at the 2-minute warning. So 2 minutes to go. Raiders in a hole because Seattle has the ball and they lead by 8.
Introducing the import pickup you've been waiting for. The 1989 Dodge Power Ram 50 4x4. If you thought you had to give up comfort to get a close shave, Norelco says, think again. Their revolutionary shaving system shaves skin close in a way that's incredibly comfortable. As the hair enters the chamber, the patented lift and cut system lifts each hair and holds it a split second before a blade cuts it, so it's possible to shave skin close without the blades even touching the skin. The lift and cut shaving system from Norelco. We made close comfortable.
It was awful.
Awful in the worst sense of the word. Blanche heard it.
Who heard it first?
Bert, you heard it first.
I heard it first. I was sitting right there.
Most awful sound you ever heard.
Amen.
It was more like a hissing sound
It
to
was
me.
a buzz.
Well, so be it, but I think it had hissing overtones.
Let's just say you could not describe it with a human mouth.
Say no more.
I'm taking early retirement.
If your long distance sounds bad, call now and hear why 9 out of 10 business people prefer the sound quality of U.S. Sprint.
2 minutes to go. Reminder, tomorrow night, an hour of comedy. Who's the Boss? And Roseanne leading into the 50th Barbara Walters special. And that comes your way beginning at 8 Eastern. 7 Central and Mountain tomorrow night. Our primetime lineup on ABC.
I'm in love with Roseanne.
Not bad.
That's the funniest show I've seen in a long time.
3rd and 3 now at the 36-yard line. A critical play for the Raiders to stop Seattle here. And they do. Warner is taken down at the 35-yard line. And now the Raiders are going to take a timeout. 4th down coming up. Rod Martin is in on the tackle. And the Raiders now have 1 timeout. Now, what does Knox want to do here at the 35-yard line?
If you're looking at a 52-yard field goal, is certainly they can reach it all right. Norm Johnson has a career best of 54 yards.
Or
whether or not you want to risk the block.
Yeah, I wouldn't kick a field goal.
When you kick a long field goal, the trajectory is much lower when it goes over the line of scrimmage. You can get a block a lot more easily.
I mean, the Raiders already need 2 scores to get back into it. I certainly wouldn't give them an opportunity to get a free one by running a blocked field goal.
But then do you punt, Dan, from here?
I think I pooch punt it here.
And that's exactly what they're going to do.
A Chardonnay punch, shall we say.
A designer dog.
A designer dog.
The crowd boos a little bit, but only the uninformed would boo this decision.
.151 to go.
Hey, for the AFC West, so it's just beginning. Seattle goes on to play at New England. They come back and have Denver, and then they have to close the season against the Raiders in L.A.
Meanwhile, the Raiders will have a critical game next week against Denver in L.A. And that pooch punt had a little too much bark.
That was a dog.
Yeah, that was.
This telecast.
Speaking of dogs.
I beg
no,
your
not
pardon.
you. I mean the copy. Go ahead.
I beg your pardon.
I never promised you a rose garden. Go to from the reverse angle, folks.
Why should I have to read this?
The disclaimer.
You can only say that with me between you and him. I know that.
You'd think by now I would have memorized this. This telecast is presented by the authority of the National Football League as it intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or any other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the National Football League is strictly prohibited. And it's out of here.
Okay.
And I don't know that I'd really want to be Jay Schrader right now. A lot to do and not a lot of time to do it in.
Marcus Allen. First down after the 37-yard line, but Seattle will give them that. Minute and a half remaining, and again, the Raiders have just 1 timeout.
Marcus Allen. How many football players do you know have style when they lose?
And Allen can't handle it with 1 hand, and again, playing with that cast. And you're right, a lot of guys would have been on IR with his injury.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. I admire his
that
courage.
hurt, too. You know, he had to put that left hand out there, and you know it had to hurt.
I admire the man's courage.
Never moans, never groans, never gripes.
I wish we would have had him Saturday.
Yeah. So does Larry Smith.
What's this we?
Well, when we get to the Rose Bowl, I'll be hearing it from you.
I don't know.
Inbred loyalty.
Well, we'll be in New Orleans doing the Sugar Bowl, so we'll have to watch it like everybody else.
2nd and 10. And it's incomplete, intended for Tim Brown, and broken up by Dave Wyman.
You know, he made a good play to avoid the interception. He's a complete football player.
And a Raiders record right there, combined yardage, 178 on that kick return. He's caught a touchdown pass. 1 rush tonight. That was worth 3 yards.
And the one thing that you know for sure, he will get better. He is just getting started. And I think it's safe to say a Heisman Trophy winner that is indeed everything as advertised.
Raiders came close this year to having 4 Heisman Trophy winners in the same backfield if Jim Plunkett hadn't retired and made the team. Rader chased, and that's incomplete. 4th down. Of course, they've got Allen and Jackson as the running backs, and you could line Brown up as a wing back or a slot back as the 3rd guy in the backfield. Then Plunkett. Meanwhile, Dave Krieg with 5 touchdown passes, including that last one to the appropriately named Lewis Clark. Can you think of a better name for a guy playing for a Northwest team?
Yeah, now how candid, too, though, Chuck Knox, to tell us literally in our meeting today that he was the player they'd like to go to when they got down close.
They went on a Lewis Clark exploration. And
you're a sick man, Al.
Very sick.
It was an expedition, not an exploration.
I know. Just wanted to see if you were still listening.
It's almost time for breakfast.
As they departed from the confluence of the Missouri and Mississippi.
Right. And went right through the Yakima Pass.
On their way to the Palouse.
The good old Palouse in eastern Washington.
Totally over the edge.
Oh, completely.
By the way,
false start, number 60, offense. 4th down.
Do you think the world of college football is ready for us to make our inaugural broadcast of the Sugar Bowl?
I want to know, were you watching Friday? Or was it Saturday?
No, Friday was Auburn, Alabama. Saturday was Florida State, Florida.
And I'm sure you were sitting there videotaping all of it.
Every minute. Every minute.
The better question is, New Orleans ready for us?
I had my clicker. Of course, my clicker is the remote control. I haven't worked my way all the way up to the top yet.
Someday. 4th and 15. Here's the last gasp for the Raiders.
Got
the Raider airing it out. The infield fly rule is in effect, and it's incomplete. And that will just about write an end to it, almost officially. Raiders, should they wish, can stop the clock once more. And the way things appear at the moment, it's going to be Seattle and Denver tied for the lead. Seattle beat Denver earlier this season, in fact, on opening day, and that's the way the standings will look.
We talked about the Raiders meeting Denver, and again, Seattle in 2 weeks, but sandwiched in there, which we have not talked about, is Buffalo. At Buffalo. There it is.
Yep. And I guess none of us can forget the fact that the Raiders did beat Denver. We were there.
Can hardly forget that one. Down 24-0. And they better beat them again if they want to stay in the race, and they're going to get them next week. Raiders do take a timeout. Tim Brown, big night in a losing cause. Executive producer of Monday Night Football, Jeffrey Mason. Kenny Wolf, our producer, directed by Krieg. Our technical director is Joey Chabot.
Guys did a great job tonight.
Ben Harvey, our associate director.
There goes Billy.
Billy's gone.
Well, the game's truly over when Billy Edwards walks out.
Orange Sleeves is leaving. And as always, Steve Hurt for research and information. George Hill back home in the Puyallup region. Our statistician, and Malibu, Kelly Hayes.
I want to thank the Raiders and the Seahawks for a heck of a game.
Yep. Good one.
They turned it up for us.
Great first half. And then in the second half, Raiders scored the only touchdown in the third quarter, but the Seahawks twice into the end zone in the fourth quarter, and Chuck Knox will watch his team move into a tie for first place in the AFC West.
What a night for the new owner, Ken Baring.
I wonder if he'll do a Baring boogie.
Oh, this certainly beats land development and looking at classic cars, even if it cost you $85 million.
When you win, it does. So 60,000 go home happy from the Kingdome